Jimmy was taken in by remarkable rescues after gaining the viral attention on social media for its aggressive behavior. Now, they estimate Jimmy is 3 to 4 months old, likely hand-raised. Remains unclear who originally raised or released the duck into the neighborhood. Officials have not confirmed whether other aggressive ducks remain in the area, but they've got him, and he is going to be in the sanctuary now.
That is one more?
That's it.
That is Trash Today. Sound like your voice was done.
Yeah.
Trash Today brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Sounds like Brownie will be back tomorrow and LT will be struggling. Maybe he'll be here just hanging out, not being able to talk. Hope the voice gets better. Here are some, we mentioned earlier, the sports science passing, the sad passing of John Brinkus, and after a long battle with depression and, according to some reports, a battle with alcohol. Dies at the age of 54 over the weekend. And we were talking about some great segments from sports science. Of the best segments, according to Ranker of sports science ever, Ndamukong Suh's testing, Suh's impressive athletic abilities, including speed, acceleration, and power. Marshawn Lynch's beast mode, his powerful running style, and the science behind his physicality. I remember this one now. This one was interesting to me. The physics of baseball collisions, of the speed of the pitcher's pitch, and then your bat the acceleration of your bat speed.
Oh, I thought you were going runner to catcher. No. I don't know if you saw the one in Oregon.
Oh, yeah, that was a bad call. What was that guy was supposed to do? You're talking about ruling the guy out?
Yep.
I mean, he didn't lower his shoulder, and he put his hands up to sort of stop. He's sliding into the plate. That wasn't wasn't him rolling the guy.
We knee-jerked everything. It goes back to Buster Posey.
Yep.
The bad injury at the plate, and now everything is, different when it comes to that was one of the more exciting plays in all of baseball, if not the most exciting play.
Yeah. Because back in the day, you could lower your shoulder and run the guy over if he's in your base path.
Yeah, we all remember Pete Rose and Ray Fosse, right?
That was 1970 or 71, somewhere around there, but it's an iconic baseball play. The kid from Oregon was basically going into a slide, and the guy came up, and he even has his hands out like that. That was a horrible call, in my opinion. The physics of baseball collision is the pitcher throwing it 98, and then bat speed, what all happens to transfer that power from the bat to the baseball to get it to go out. Now, I remember watching that one. It was very interesting. Tariq Hill's speed, analyzed Hill's incredible speed and acceleration in using different ways to quantify his performance. We talked about Ray Lewis. The skill set of Giannis, the Greek Freak, was one.
Did they ever do the punching power of a heavyweight?
Yeah, it seems like they did, didn't they? It's not listed here. The other ones were Dirk's skills, Aroldis Chapman's velocity of his pitch, and then free throw line dunks, what it takes to dunk from the free throw line, how fast you have to be running, and your jumping ability to actually leave the air from the free throw line. It does seem like that was one at one point, right? The Mike Tyson punch or something?
One of the biggest Cold War movies in history, Rocky IV, right? When Drago, they were testing his punching power.
Yeah. I'm going to miss those. I'm going to miss those sports sciences. They'd gone away. He had sold the company, and a lot of people say that's when he started to slip into the depression, was after he sold the company that created and was behind sports science. But he will be missed there. The World Series continues in Oklahoma City for the women. Still Tennessee, Texas tied 0-0.
Looking to expand your business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us at sales@nextroundlive.com to be part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential consumers on our ever-expanding platform. Let the Next Round help take your business to the next level. Get more information by emailing us at sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
Do you need some refreshed college wear to represent your team this year? Shop Roback's Game Day collection that includes both Alabama and Auburn. From quarter zips to hoodies, Roback has it all. Get 20% off on us using code TNR20 at roback.com.
Take the Next Round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store. Call the Next Round now at 205-734-0923. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Brownie's back, and we're live on our Tuesday now, working our way closer to the college football season. We'll get to the new ESPN FPI that's out now. Brown will go into all the computer mechanics that formulate that up. I think Brown is part of the computer team there that inserts all that material.
Mississippi State 12 again?
I cannot. Do you remember that? Was it that how high they were?
That's the exact thing I told Bo earlier. He's like, "Oh, that's interesting." I said, "Brown wants in the show. I stopped paying attention to it when Mississippi State was 12."
What year?
We'll get to it in a second.
I think it was Leach's
last, right?
I think it was Leach's last year.
Okay,
no, yeah, it was. It was the year before Arnett took over.
Was it really?
Yeah, so 3 years ago.
Okay.
And then I think they finished 7-6.
Not every. Listen,
If that high, yes.
Hey, we read the Associated Press poll every time it comes out. They've always got a team in the top 10 that finishes unranked.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that in just a second here. First segment, we'll talk about baseball in the SEC. A bad time for them to lay an egg with all the talking coming out of the SEC meetings, and a lot of other college football to get to, including some college football Hall of Fame ballots that are out yesterday with some interesting names on them. Let's start with that FPI, though, Forrester. Pop that thing up here. It is fresh according to ESPN.com. I don't know how often they update this. It is a computer-generated thing, Brownie. That's right.
It is, yeah. It's they've got some factors that go into it, and it spits out the numbers. And now what Scott is showing you is basically just where they got everybody ranked. Actually, that is incorrect, and Scott did not build that. That is from On3, I believe. But they've flipped Ohio State and Alabama. Well, you know what? They based it on FPI, and FPI ranked them differently. So, he does have it right. Let me retract that, or On3 does. Texas 1, Georgia 2, Ohio State 3, Alabama 4. Now, if you rank it by their FPI,
well, if it's the FPI ranking, that's what we want to go by.
Well,
right?
they are ranking it. ESPN ranks it by the percent chance to make the championship. They've got several different categories.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why they've got Ohio State third. They've got a better percent chance of making the college football championship game than does Alabama. But if you just look at Alabama's FPI, their football power index number, yes, they are number 3 behind Texas, Georgia, behind Texas and Georgia, and in front of Ohio State. So their numbers spit out the SEC in the top 3.
Not just the top 3. They spit them out at number 8, at number 10, at number 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 22, 23. All over the place there. The first one that pops for me, LT, on punching a hole in this is Texas A&M sliding in at number 8.
Yeah. And I'm looking here, and this is by championship odds again. They've got them a 34% chance to make the playoff, a 2% chance to play for the national championship. I had an expectation for A&M last year, which is weird in Elko's first year. I really don't in year 2. This will be the A&M team that probably surprises a lot.
But this has them projected at 8.1 wins, so just over 8 wins, which is about where you would think Texas A&M would. I mean, it's where Texas A&M
But I don't know how
is.
you can have a 34% chance of making the postseason and you've only got a projected win total of 8.
Yeah, and then how do I end up in my top 10 of the FPI?
Because it's based on their FPI ranking, and they're 11th based on the championship odds. But on the FPI ranking, that's how they finished in the top 8.
There is only one head coach that's got a problem with this. Most probably don't even look at it. You were out yesterday when I brought this up.
Can you give me the logo top 25 again?
And you're going to guess the head coach has got a
No, I'm
problem
not
with
going to
it?
guess it. I just want to see the logos again.
I mean,
I'm
if you
a
guys,
big logo
but
fan.
if you
like the
guys
logos?
had to, think that one coach would not like where they are, who would it be?
Instantly, I am going to say Dabo Swinney.
Yeah, Dabo's pretty low.
It's
No, but-
lower than the humans.
Yeah.
But that's the old Roy bus, right? I think he would take that. I'm talking about Georgia at number 2.
Wow. He's
Yeah,
going to be
it's
upset
too
at
high.
that?
Yeah,
it's too high.
Too high.
Yeah,
Okay.
no. I mean, nobody's talking about Georgia. We talked about this yesterday, Brown. We don't know if it's the fact that, Gunnar Stockton is the quarterback or everybody's got this Texas love or one of the both. But, Kirby can sell his team on nobody's giving you a chance to win anything this year.
So they project Texas at 10.4 wins, so between 10 and 11 wins, an 83.9% chance to make the playoffs, and a 22.2% chance at the championship. Georgia, right behind them, 10.1 wins, 78.6% chance to make the playoffs, 17.5% chance playing for the championship. Ohio State, 10.4 wins, 70% on the playoffs, 11% on the championship. Then Alabama, 9.6 wins, so between 9 and 10 wins, 66% chance to make the playoffs, and a 10% chance at the championship. That's the FPI numbers as it relates to their projected wins, their playoffs, and their championship berth odds. The most playoff teams, they also did this. SEC, they project between 4 and 5 with a 61% chance of an SEC team playing for the championship.
I did that without a hard drive.
Yes.
Internal. I don't have an internal hard drive.
There's nothing Jim likes less than the FPI.
Hey, that is one of the biggest upsets over the last 25 years is over the last 2 years, we have not had an SEC team in the game.
Yeah, that is crazy. What about Big Ten? I mean, Big Ten teams, does it the FPI project?
2.9, so right at 3. That would be a disappointment for the Big Ten.
Yeah.
25.8% chance of playing for the championship.
Yeah, but
that's Ohio State, Oregon, and Penn State.
That's right.
They'll get one more.
There's a big gap. Indiana doesn't show up on this. Obviously, USC doesn't show up on this. But I think between those 3 teams and everyone else, there is a big gap.
The next, I'll answer this question for you, Jim. The next highest ranked team they have Ohio State 3rd, Oregon 6. Ohio State 3rd, Penn State 5, Oregon 6. Next highest ranked team is Michigan at 15, just missing the playoffs. So that's why they only project those 3, is that they got Michigan that low.
How does the chat room like the FPI? Let me know that.
I'll tell you this. Based on this is why the SEC wants the 5 plus 11.
Yeah, and apparently all about computers. They'll take computer ratings
because
over
if you
humans.
had the 5 plus 11, I'm looking on the backside of this. You've just got a slew from Tennessee, A&M, LSU, Ole Miss, Auburn, South Carolina, Oklahoma, and Florida.
Smuff says 13 of top 25 teams from the SEC. He likes it.
He likes it.
Tesla Talk says the barn, I'm assuming he's an Alabama fan, at 14 is hilarious.
No, a lot of the preseason rankings have them in the top 25. We had them at 27 in the poll voted by our viewers and listeners.
Yeah, but again, Auburn's win total projected on this is only 7.5
I know.
wins.
That's another one where if they're at 7 to 8, Hugh Freeze is in the discussion at 7 and 8 wins.
It's not out of dislike it, Brownie. You understand my confusion.
I
if
do.
Their projected win total is 8.1 in Texas A&M's case, how are they showing up on my graphic in the top 10? That's where it doesn't add up to me.
I think the projected wins is like everything all consumed. This is what more than likely they're going to be 8-4. But based on the percentage of 1 out of 3 seasons played out, they've got 10 wins and they get into a college football playoff.
But I'll give you this.
And 2 out of 100, they've got probably 11 wins and play for the national championship.
Like Kansas State's projected wins are 8.6. They're 20th. So it's more projected wins than Texas A&M. This is a power ranking, though. This is saying, while Texas A&M may have fewer wins than Kansas State, Texas A&M's playing a tougher schedule than Kansas State. We think they're a better team. This is not just based on wins and losses. This is a power ranking.
You're telling me this is it's football power index, but it's a power ranking that Texas A&M is, according to the computer, the 8th best team in the country.
Based on
just being power, just
no.
power.
I'm trying to remember how that one ranked it. Based on just their FPI number, I'd have to. It's not the one I've got is just based on their championship odds. Okay. So, based on their championship odds, 11th. Based on their FPI number, it's going to be a little bit lower.
Yeah,
than
but
that.
Is that FPI not everything? The projected wins, playoff percentage, and championship
it
percentage
is,
all combined.
But you got to pick. You got to pick which column you rank them by.
I'll tell you what this says is even the computers are confused by the Big 12. Like, really, well, that's the one league we've talked about is such a wild card. You saw it last year with Arizona State. They've got Kansas State slipping in at number 20.
That's it.
And that's the only Big 12 because they're like, hell, we don't know.
I know. We don't even know what to do. We got to have they got to the computer got to 20, and they're like, hey, we don't have a Big 12 team in here. We need something. So Kansas State sneaks in with a 0.5% chance to play for the championship.
So there's the FPI. You can read a lot more on that at ESPN.com if you'd like to jump in there. ESPN.com to see that. That's from the folks over there. We'll talk a lot of college football.
big picture SEC college football stuff here in just a second after we tell you about a couple of our great sponsors. One of them is our friend Alexander Shunnarah, trial attorney.
That's right. You might be in need of an attorney one day. Well, good news, Alexander Shunnarah has you covered. Shunnarah.com is where you start. You don't pay unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com. One thing Alex wanted to do was create a firm that could handle any issue his community faced. The firm handles not only personal injury claims, but claims for fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claims, disability, workers' compensation, and a host of other claims. If you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com. Shunnarah.com.
And our buddy Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing, that free, absolutely free, no-cost roof inspection. Greg has taken off his tux, where he looked a lot like James Bond. And he's ready to come and 007 up on your roof real quick and check it out and make sure you've got no problems up there. Free no-cost roof inspection. If you call his number, 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531, or Greg from Pell City on Facebook, A+ rated with a Better Business Bureau, locally owned for over 20 years. One of the best things Greg does for you is just being a father of 10, a husband, local guy, is that he deals with the insurance guys so well, works with you to help get the most out of the insurance company, make sure you're covered in everything that's going on, full roof replacements as they age out, storm repairs. He's got a builder's license. He can handle that for you as well. And these crews are local. They're with Greg all the time, and that just gives you a little peace of mind that he's going to be with you as long as you own that home, making sure it's safe. 205-542-3531, or Greg from Pell City on Facebook. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. Bad time, I believe, for the SEC to lay an egg in the college football baseball playoffs. If you're just painting a scenario, because SEC meetings a few days ago, and you had every coach saying, well, just look at the baseball, man. Nobody's complaining. We've got 13 teams and 8 of them are hosting the regionals, blah, 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 blah. Murray State beats Ole Miss yesterday. We get a clapback situation on social media. This gets used a lot. It's almost a given now. Small team beats SEC team. It just meant more as Murray State advances to the Super Regional. Taylor Korn, handling our social media, sends out the graphic with all the SEC teams that were in the regionals, just 4 on their way to the Super Regionals. Now that's 4 of 8, so you got a chance to get 3 teams to the College World Series. Auburn is hosting, Arkansas is hosting, and is Arkansas and Tennessee playing? Yeah, Tennessee and Arkansas is playing each other, and LSU gets West Virginia. So a chance of getting 3 there. At least 1 will be there because Arkansas and Tennessee plays each other. This is why we play the games. If I'm in the Big 12 or the ACC and I'm doing all this public image now of wanting my seat at the table in the college football playoff discussion coming up June 18th for the football side, I'm going to use the example you just used in Destin with the SEC, LT, and I'm going to say, see, you guys got 13. You hosted 8 of the 16. This is why we need fair entry into the playoffs. This is why we need to play the games and not just assume you're better than us.
Apples to oranges, though. It's baseball. And, this can't happen in football. I mean, Murray State in baseball does have an opportunity to go out and beat one of the power teams. In football, it just can't happen.
Well, I mean, Boise State almost beat Texas last year. You said it.
No, yeah, I'm in a one-game situation, but what are the chances that Boise's going to be able to rip off 3? I mean, that's the thing. I mean, Murray State, by the way, 125-1 to win this thing. They are your deepest odds on this. I really do think it's apples and oranges when you're. I mean, I see your point, like the perception of the SEC.
It's not my point. I'm just saying the Big 12 and the ACC, as we go into this June 18th meeting of the college football playoffs, Brown, I'm going to be like, you guys always assume that you're going to beat us because you are better than us. You play a tougher schedule. You got more brands. We understand that. But see, when we have access in all these sports, we're there. We're beating you. We're beating you. We're playing with you. We win sometimes. We need access.
Yeah. I mean, you're probably right. They're going to make some form of that argument. I am with Lance. It is an apples and oranges comparison, obviously, baseball and any other sport. I mean, it brings the question, I was going to bring this up with Clay because apparently Clay's a big college baseball fan, and Tennessee's in this thing. But I'll ask you guys.
Do you think Clay would be a big college baseball fan if Tennessee sucked?
That was the joke I was going to make with it. It was like Tennessee's gotten good, so you're a big college baseball fan.
Vanderbilt wouldn't have shit the bed.
That's true, Vandy. He has also got Vandy ties. Is this regional a good system or a bad system for determining the best team in baseball?
Is the NCAA tournament a good system to determining the best team in college basketball?
Not the best team all year, no, but we accept in college basketball we're only going to get the best team at that point. Sometimes
but I think this is the way to do it. I think from the regional to the super regional.
Yeah. Like Florida wasn't the best team all year. Far from it, in fact. I mean, Florida really didn't peak until probably February, right? I mean, Florida's peak was when they went to Auburn Arena and beat Auburn, and you're like, okay.
I think that's when they jumped on the stage.
Yeah. When they beat Auburn at Auburn Arena, you're like, all right, this is a good Florida team.
Yeah, but I think that's any sport, right? Yeah. I mean, you look, we've got the NBA final starting up on Thursday night. The best record since February 1st is Oklahoma City. The second best record since February 1st is Indiana.
Yeah, I mean, Oregon was the best football team all year, but when the playoffs happened, Ohio State was the best team.
Yeah.
So
Ohio State wasn't at the end of the regular season. They lost.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It was only in the playoffs that Ohio State became the best team. In any other system we've ever had in college football, Ohio State would not have even played for the national championship.
Lance brought it up 1,000 times the year the Buccaneers won the championship in 2020. 7-5, and then they started winning, and they didn't lose again.
Yeah.
They were 7-5.
So, I mean, we accept that in other sports, so I guess we got to accept in baseball. The difference in baseball is, and this is why this whole regional situation is tricky. You get a team with a really dominant Friday starter, and that team gets in the winner's bracket, and it is so difficult to crawl out of the loser's bracket. Now, the counter to that would be, my gosh, I'll use Vandy as an example since you were talking Murray State. Vandy, you're playing at home. You've got a 5 times roster as the team.
But go back to your football comparison, though. You made a point that Ohio State wasn't the best team until – so back to the access question. Does the Big 12 and the ACC need access to this college football playoffs when this meeting happens on June 18th? Here's Greg Sankey, and then I'll let you think about your answer. Here's Sankey back at SEC meetings in Destin when he talks about the need to collaborate with these other conferences. And then I want you to tell me, by your own discussion, baseball's different, basketball's different than football, but football wasn't the best team all year. Ohio State lost their rivalry game and was the national champion. Here's Greg Sankey.
We're going to have differences among 4 conferences. We need to work well together, and our presidents even talked about working with their colleagues in conversation. I've seen some rhetoric, at least attributed to some of my colleagues anonymously. I think the emotional maturity need right now is higher than ever. I'll speak directly about how I perceive things and how things are presented, but we have a responsibility to work together, and I think we've all been reminded of that over the last few days here from a Southeastern Conference perspective. That doesn't mean we all end up on the same page, but we have a responsibility to engage in gathering information and gathering perspectives, working through that. And I think that's someplace embedded in the definition of collaboration.
Okay, so my question is, what does the SEC and the Big Ten owe college football? The rest of college football, what do they owe them?
A chance. Yeah, I mean, realistically, we've said this. Like, Clemson has a shot this year. Outside of Clemson, I don't think there's a team in college football that can win a national championship that's not in the SEC or the Big Ten. That's kind of unfortunate, but
yeah. But let me ask the question this way, and not that this is the necessary.
But I know somebody out of the AFC or the NFC is going to win the Super Bowl. Yeah. I know it.
Are you willing to bet your life on that?
Yeah, and that's kind of where we are in college football, almost.
Yeah. If the SEC and the Big Ten said, "Hey, forget the rest of y'all, we're going to go do our own thing," would it survive?
Would the rest of college football survive?
No. Well, that question next.
Would the SEC and Big Ten
survive? Would the SEC and Big Ten survive?
Absolutely.
Would the SEC and Big Ten survive? All right. Would the rest of college football survive?
Probably
because
not.
they would pick
Probably
off
not.
the other name brands of the ACC and the Big 12.
So from a purely like, I am only in this for me, pure selfish, no, they don't owe college football anything because they could survive without it. And in that mindset, college football owes me everything. If I'm just going to look at it from a purely selfish standpoint, I think the SEC and the Big Ten selfishly could say, We could split off and do this on our own, and we would survive just the same. Fox would still pay to show the big noon kickoff. ESPN would still pay to show all of our games. Now, I don't think Tony Petitti and Greg Sankey are going to approach it that way, right? Because there are a lot of other factors involved. But from that purely selfish standpoint, they don't know college football anything. Now, that is 100% selfish, which, I don't think anybody ought to be. But from a selfish standpoint, they don't know college football anything. Now, if you want to take self out of it and say, okay, I got to stand for the greater of the game, I think Lance is right, access. Like the SEC and the Big Ten owe the game access to the college football playoff. Now, what does that look like? I don't know, man. You got a lot of people that are arguing about this, and they're a lot smarter than me, and they see the TV numbers and the TV dollars I don't see.
I mean, limited access is the only thing that's fair.
I mean, I agree with Lance. I mean, it's kind of hard to say that. Like, we'll
no, but I mean,
you
you just looked at the FPI. I mean, the computers did all of this formulating, and they came up with one team on the very back end that could squeeze in out of the Big 12. Big 12 doesn't have the same equity that the Big 10 and the SEC have, and they shouldn't.
Yeah.
Now, the argument I would use as opposed to what's going on right now in the super regionals is I'd go back to TCU 2 years ago. I'd be like, hey, this wasn't even our Big 12 champion. They got in and played for a national championship. It's a one-off. It's a tough argument.
It is a tough argument, but it is there, yeah.
But, I mean, you had Boise that played them close. Who else? Arizona State had
Texas dead to rights.
Texas dead to right.
Yeah.
Boise State had who almost beat?
Well, Boise really didn't.
No, it was Arizona State.
It was more Oregon in the regular season.
Yeah.
So,
and Boise, I mean, they didn't really play with Penn State.
But, I look at those teams like Arizona State and Boise, and I'm like, okay, look, they deserve to be there, but they didn't get anything done, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
No harm, no foul.
Now, Volfan 205 in the chat says, this is easy to fix. Just have an emphasis on strength of schedule and encourage teams to play as many teams as possible in and out of conference. That's a great idea, but that we do our scheduling so backwards in college football.
Well, how many people want to play Boise State?
Well, but if you do it every year, even if you did the schedule for next year,
it changes
Brown,
so much, yeah.
But the FPI is going to show you that the perception is that my schedule is going to be tougher than your schedule because the computer says my schedule is tougher than your schedule.
But
Texas A&M, hell's 8th.
I'll give
They're
you
on my schedule.
I'll give you a great example of that. Like, you could go out right now. Like, if we had not done schedules and in the offseason, Alabama, Greg Burns, like, we're going to schedule tough. We're going to go play Indiana. They just played in the college football playoff. I mean, can Indiana keep that up this year? I don't think they can.
I've got them a little higher than we've got them.
Yeah, but I don't think they can. I don't think they can be college football playoff level.
No,
and it's not going to be old school Indiana level. I mean, there's somewhere in between, but
I mean, they're coming off their best year in their 126th year history.
Right. So I scheduled them right after the best year they've ever had. They went to the college football playoff. Well, they ended up 7-5. That didn't do you any good. And that's a very realistic scenario, by the way. You could schedule Indiana right now, beat them, and they could end up 7-5, and that's really no different than playing most of the teams people play.
Back to TCU. What did TCU go the year after they played for the
5-7?
They haven't been good since.
Yeah, I mean, Colorado went and launched the Deion Sanders era there, and everybody was like, "Well, it's tough game for Colorado. They're having to play a team that just played for the national championship, and in a lot of ways, they walked them out of the stadium."
I don't know, man. I mean, just from where I sit, 5+11 seems simple, and I don't know why anybody would have a problem with that. I really don't.
Because if you're going by a computer rating, some people will say that the SEC and the Big Ten will have a huge advantage because when you're kicking stuff into the computer, like a human poll or something, you're going to have a lot of little numbers by the SEC and the Big Ten teams and not a lot of little numbers by the Big 12 teams and the ACC teams. If you're going by a human poll, you'll have SEC and Big Ten fatigue that may saturate a little ACC Big 12.
But all this is based on a huge sample size, right? Like,
not as huge as basketball and baseball, but yeah.
But I mean, this has been going on quite a while, and we know that literally the cream rising to the top is the SEC and the Big Ten. A weird question on the fly, but we've got computer hackers all over the place, right? We got people that can hack in to like national security systems.
Correct.
Could you not get a Big 12 or an ACC hacker and get them to come in and fluff up the numbers?
Yeah.
Like, weird question, but if you had some kind of complete Goodwill Hunting nerd that was a North Carolina grad and they were borderline, if he could get in the system, kind of pop them up just a little bit.
Like the Harris poll and all these other computer rankings pour in, but the computer rankings really like Kansas State.
Yeah.
You're like, whew, I did not see this, but it's a computer, and then all of a sudden Kansas
But if
State's
it's
in the
black and
playoffs.
white,
Yeah.
this is the way we're doing it based on these computer rankings.
Yeah. Just see Texas A&M in the FPI. There you go, number 8. All right, one more thing to get to in our opening segment. Clay's with us at to start hour number 2. The show being brought to you by our friends at Bojangles. Tell us about Bojangles, Brown.
It can be bow time for you. You love those dipping sauces, right? At Bojangles, from sweet to heat, Bojangles has 7 sauces that will definitely add a little extra flavor to every bite. Nothing pairs better with the sauces than hand-breaded tenders. So if you're looking for sweet, try honey mustard or add some tang with barbecue. If you're looking for some heat, try creamy buffalo or peach honey pepper. If you're craving smooth and creamy, house-made ranch, jalapeno ranch, or classic bow sauce, ready and waiting. So head to Bojangles and order some hand-breaded tenders with your favorite sauce today. It's bow time.
Hey, by the way, we got start times for Auburn. They go at 8 o'clock Central on June 6th. That's Friday, I believe. Is that correct?
Today is the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. Yeah, Friday.
8
Well, that's
o'clock.
a late start at Auburn.
Late start Friday night at Auburn in the Super Regional college. Excuse me, is it Coastal Carolina in Auburn? The day game on it's a quick turnaround. 2 o'clock Central. Day game on Saturday and a TBD if necessary game on Sunday for Auburn. 2 wins away of going back to the College World Series. The Women's College World Series has been wonderful drama, a lot of unbelievable games, walk-off moments. Last night, Texas Tech, with their $1 million NIL pitcher, was up 2-0 on Oklahoma, who had won 4 straight national championships. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, runner on, and girl jacks it out of the yard, and it's 2-2, and you think Oklahoma will not die. But in the bottom of the 7th, Texas Tech gets the walk-off on a sacrifice fly. So for the first time in 4 seasons, after 4 straight national championships, there will be a champion, not Oklahoma. It'll be Texas, now out of the SEC, playing Texas Tech, still in the Big 12, but Texas Tech is the story that keeps popping up. This may have been the first thing they did. They went and paid $1 million to this girl from Stanford, Nigeri Kennedy, to come in. Her ERA pitching this year is 0.90. She had 11 home runs, and she shut down Oklahoma for all but 1 pitch last night. And they paid her $1 million to come try to win a softball national championship. They're going to be in a best-of-3 series to do it. We've seen them try to do this now in basketball. And the baseball team was pretty good, is pretty good. I don't know if
They're trying it in football.
They're trying it in football.
I said
Texas
this
Tech.
yesterday, Brown. It's almost like SEC, Big Ten, and maybe Texas Tech's going to be the outlier because of all the money they've got.
I'm fascinated.
I don't think the ROI on this is probably going to pay off, but I think the thing that you can do that's almost a guarantee, if you get a dominant pitcher like this in softball, because, when I was leaving the studio the other day, Dunaway, I think we were talking about Texas, Tennessee. I guess it was yesterday. And you're like, I wonder if she can pitch the
night game.
Yeah, the night game. And I'm like, it's softball.
Yeah.
Like she can
keep throwing.
She can pitch for a year straight. And that's the thing. If you get a dominant one like that, you can pay them whatever, and it's going to translate. You can go from, Tennessee to Texas Tech to SMU. It doesn't matter.
So at least in short term, this Double Eagle Energy guy, the petroleum guy that sold for $4 billion, his ROI, to Lance's point, is just watching his team win a championship because he does not get the $1 million back on the. There's no way you can make $1 million back on investing in a softball player.
I bet he is fun to hang out with.
He probably is.
Because he seems like a spender, right?
He picks the tab up every time.
Yeah.
I don't think you ever pay when you're hanging out with Double Eagle. This is much more difficult to do in football, but they are trying. And, I will be fascinated the first time that they're – see, it's a little bit like the NFL. Primo quarterbacks almost never show up in the transfer portal in college football. Your Arch Mannings of the world – they just don't get there.
But if you're listing great players to pay NIL, would you not go – like quarterback would be probably number 2, but I would go women's softball, dominant pitcher would be 1.
If I'm just trying to win a championship, that's where I would go first because that can impact the game more than anything.
And then would you go a dominant basketball player, whatever the position is, or would you go a quarterback?
Well, football's where the money's made.
Well,
I'd go
the money,
football before softball.
But if I'm just trying to win a championship,
I'm saying the easiest –
Easiest path
where
to a
you can say,
championship.
hey, look, I can almost guarantee you this will pay off.
But you say, Brownie, that quarterbacks don't hit the portal. Well, this isn't hitting the portal. There's no contract. So I just sit back and pick whoever the best quarterback in the country is this offseason, and then I go, if I can pay $1 million for a softball pitcher, that is overpaying.
Oh, 100%,
I can go overpay for a quarterback to get him to leave any school in the country.
And the only thing that's important is winning a championship, right? And you look at both quarterbacks that played for a national championship last year. Riley Leonard transfer from Duke. Will Howard transfer from Kansas State.
Yeah, but I'd go pick the quarterback, and then I'd say, okay, which 3 receivers do you want? Out of what pool?
No,
college football.
Listen,
college football. Anybody you want? You want Jeremiah Smith from Ohio State? Just let me know. I'll go get him.
I guess my point is, who are the legitimate quarterbacks that can make them a national championship team this year? I mean, could Arch do it? You don't even think Arch could do it at Texas, much less Texas Tech.
I don't know.
You don't know if he can.
But no, I mean that's
Garrett Nussmeier,
maybe Kate Klubnik.
But I don't know if I trust any of them.
I know.
But does it come a time where our double eagle guys like, hey, look, we're going to win a national championship at Texas Tech. You get on board if you want. We're offering $5 million for the top player at every position.
Yep.
And if you want to have this, you saw it with the Miami Heat. You saw it with the Golden State Warriors.
That's right.
We're going to do it with Texas Tech football. If you want to be a part of something that people are going to talk about for the next 100 years, jump on board right now.
Now, you'll never come back to this Dust Bowl and celebrate it, but you'll talk about it for a long time.
But how many kids would be interested?
A lot.
Every other
kind of
one,
money,
right?
Yeah.
All right, so that's a little college football landscape conversation. Big takeaway is computers love Texas A&M. SEC baseball, a little disappointing to see what they do in the super regionals now. And Texas Tech still spending money that may relate or translate into a softball national championship. When we come back, a little bit more on the field stuff, including our team at number 26 in our 40 and 40 countdown. Lance has more baseball plays for you today at lanceslock.com, brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill.
Yeah, free play every single day. NBA playoffs, NBA finals, I should say, starting up in just 2 days. Jump on board. Win with us. lanceslock.com. Free play every single day. It is brought to you by our friends. Hemp Hill Services. Had a great conversation with our friend Chad Rhodes yesterday. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Since you listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts, it's time to replace them with Rhoback. Go to Rhoback.com and click on the Refresh collection to find all that you need for an EG-approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
It's bow time.
Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Hey, you. Days warming up, looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
No matter the occasion, the Next Round store has you covered with whatever you need. Head over to nextround.store and start filling your cart up now. When you wear your gear, make sure to let us know by posting on socials, and you might just end up seeing yourself during a commercial break. Go browse now at nextround.store and place your order before the break ends.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Back with you on the next round. Clay's our only guest today, coming up at the top of the hour here. We're about to do our 40 and 40, so get those graphics ready. The show today being brought to you by our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Hey, when it comes to your chance to jumpstart your weight loss, Leslie and her board-certified team can help you out in really the most effective way I've ever seen. That's just me personally. You go to the website at planforme.com, she's helped me a couple of times, control some numbers like cholesterol numbers, even helped my blood pressure when I lost so much weight, down now to a smooth 173, holding right there. Thanks to planforme.com, it's Way to Wellness, no contract, no sign-up fees, and the first consultation is free. What you'll learn when you go to that first consultation, they have a whole menu of ways to help you. That includes, but not exclusively, injection therapies, meal replacement, these protein bars that I enjoy, one for breakfast and during the weekdays, and a snack a couple of times with those protein bars throughout the day to hold me around until I get to my lunch or my dinner. There's a great play, and everything's different for every person. No cookie-cutter plan. You can find out what's good for you at planforme.com. I can't remember, Forrester, on the graphic of somebody that did not get votes. I feel like Pittsburgh did not get any votes at all in our 40 and 40. Am I right about that? Does anybody remember? I did not have Pittsburgh ranked.
I did not have them ranked.
I did not.
As I look back on it now.
Give me cut number 4, if you will.
Probably worse teams that I ranked than Pittsburgh.
Yeah. I mean, Pitt, I don't think Pitt made it into the 40 and 40 on anybody's ballot.
Right.
I don't think they're in our top 40. I'll have to go check. But remember, they've got Eli Holstein back.
And he was good last year.
He was really good.
Yeah.
Here's Pat Narduzzi on the Fan Morning Show, 93.7 there in Pittsburgh, talking about Eli Holstein being back for what really is going to be his sophomore season.
It used to be the quarterbacks were your guy, and Eli being a redshirt sophomore and being back, we're excited, obviously. But it's so sad that you have to kind of say that quarterbacks don't return; they just transfer somewhere else. And but we're fired up for Eli now. Gosh, to have him back. People forget. I think he was just a freshman last year, getting his first start, and first year under his belt. So we'll be way better at that position and on offense. I think with another year of Cade Bell, running the show over there with the offensive staff, and Eli's an unbelievable player. We saw him make plays. He's like the magician in the pocket at times. So I'm excited to see version number 2 of Eli.
So version 2 of Eli, dangerous team when you get a quarterback back with that kind of experience. He won some games for him last year.
Well, best quarterback he's had since Kenny Pickett. And I think people kind of forget about that special year where Kenny Pickett was a Heisman finalist in 2021. They won the ACC. They would have been in the college football playoff. They won 11 games that year. And then it's kind of been up and down. 9 wins, 3 wins, 7 wins last year. But 7 wins in a pretty good ACC last year with a first-year starter.
I mean, it is interesting that we are sleeping on Pittsburgh a little bit.
Are you surprised, Brownie, that Eli Holstein's back at Pittsburgh? There would have been a market for him.
Oh, there was definitely a market for him. Now, keep in mind, so those are the teams that got no votes. Is Pitt? Yeah, there they are, right there. Very bold, right above Cal, right below Wake Forest. There's Pitt.
Oh, there they are. Yeah, no votes.
The script Pitt, not a single vote.
Not one vote. What are you guys doing?
All right.
Eli Holstein, he wore the crimson and white. He bled for you guys. Not one vote. Not one of you Alabama fans can vote for him.
Wait, there's no way Utah didn't get a vote.
Not one vote, LT.
I guarantee I did.
You did not have him in the top 25?
Oh, I had him in the top 40.
Yeah. Yeah, these are top 25s. That's your.
Yeah, I had him at 20.
That's the assignment.
Yeah. I was trying to give you a bigger sample size.
Yeah.
The thing about Holstein, keep in mind, he barely played at the end of the season. He missed the last 2 games. He did not play against Clemson. A game, by the way, they almost won. The backup almost beat Clemson.
Yeah,
I mean, Klubnik bailed him out.
He really did. Pulled it out of his ass.
Yeah, he did. I mean, Clemson was dead to rights in that game. And there was I can't remember what it was. There was a controversial play, probably targeting, if I had to guess. Controversial play in that game. Anyway, in the games he did play, he was a 2,200-yard passer, 17 touchdowns, 7 picks as a freshman. He played pretty well. Now, listen, with Pitt, that schedule is brutal at the end. That's your problem. So you better be in good shape going to November because they, after a bye, November 8th, they play Notre Dame at home, at Georgia Tech, and Miami at home.
Yeah,
tough finish.
But for Eli Holstein, the point here is I'm surprised, like Tennessee, for instance, when Nico left, Eli Holstein would have been a great little slide from Pittsburgh to Knoxville to play in that system.
Better than Aguilar.
Unbelievable.
Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Better than Aguilar.
So hats off to Eli that he sticks with the program that gave him a chance. By the way, a lot of people don't like Pat Narduzzi. I'm indifferent about him. Sometimes he says things that rub me the wrong way. I do like his scheduling philosophy. They are playing West Virginia again this year. More on that in a second. But he wants to play West Virginia every year. He wants to play Penn State every year and then play the ACC games. He wants to play those teams every year. Thinks it's important to Pitt football. Obviously, Penn State and West Virginia don't think it's enough. They're going to take a break of the backyard brawl after this year. It's coming back in a couple of years. But Pat Narduzzi, cut number 5, Tyler, right here, on the same morning show, 93.7, the Fan Morning Show, was asked about the kick time for the backyard brawl. Remember, in Pittsburgh last year, it was a night game, fun game. Now it's in Morgantown.
I think you might find
it would be a really fun night game. They scheduled it at 2:30. Here we go.
I think you might find that the fans are a little less liquored up this time than last time. I think it was, a 6 p.m. kickoff whenever it got back to Morgantown. Yeah. But I just wanted your thoughts on how this rivalry, now that you played it 3 times as the head coach at Pitt, compares to other rivalries you've been a part of. Michigan State, any of the other ones.
Yeah, they'll definitely be probably less liquored up, probably less likely, to throw a full bear can at you on the field. Hopefully they'll still be interested in drinking it first, and maybe it's an empty one. But I tell you what, this rivalry goes, probably right at the top or near the top of rivalry games I've played in. And if, the people in Pittsburgh have never been to the backyard brawl, it is one of the best, if not the best, in the country, in my opinion. And again, what makes a great rivalry? There's a lot of hate in this rivalry. I've been around a lot of rivalries, but the hate that West Virginia has for Pitt, the disrespect, to me, that makes a rivalry. Sometimes it's not clean. I know there's a lot of Pitt fans that don't want to travel down to Morgantown, because of that, but it's right up there at the top. I mean, I was in the Michigan State rivalry for 8 years prior to coming here, and that Penn State, Pitt one, which we still trying to figure out why we don't play that game still, but we should be playing West Virginia and Penn State every single year, and I'll go on record as saying I'm ready to go right now. Let's line it up.
Wow, that's a bold statement. We ought to play West Virginia and Penn State every year. Now, that's probably a coach that knows that ain't going to happen, so he can say it all he wants.
Well, I mean, look, his out-of-conference right now outside of West Virginia is as bad as anybody's outside of the team we're going to preview today on our 40 and 40.
Yeah, Duquesne is one of those right there in the Battle of Pittsburgh. But in that comment about, he's got to go to Morgantown again. I'm sure they will be less liquored up. Maybe they'll finish their beer before they throw it at us this time. Hate, disrespect, not clean. All in that description there. Pitt fans may not want to go to Morgantown because of the hate, the disrespecting and not
the old
clean,
backyard brawl.
cleanliness.
It was a fun game last year. Yep. I do know that.
The only one that I can remember that had any semblance on any kind of consequential impact on college football playoff was 2006. And everybody remembers that one, and that was Rich Rodriguez's last game where he completely blew it.
They did.
Now, they got a little help from the officials.
Well, they got it, but it wasn't enough.
Rich Rod's back. He's in the game.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
It's in the game. All right. Champions Boxing brings you our 40 and 40 team. Bad out of conference schedule, but LT still thinks a pretty good little coach, pretty good little football program. It's brought to you by our friends at Champions Boxing.
Yeah.
One team every show up until SEC Media
Stop
Days.
in, see Akash and Jake, Melman, all the great trainers there. Certified at every level. If you're looking for your kid to get a little focus this summer, if they really don't have that secondary activity, Champions Boxing could be absolutely perfect for them. If you're just looking for an additional workout, it doesn't matter if you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, maybe you're an ex-athlete in college and you want to figure out something to compete in, Champions Boxing could be absolutely perfect for you. Stop in, go see the fine folks there. Tell them the next round sent you. Conveniently located in Pelham off of Highway 31, behind the Purple Onion. There's old Jack Taylor hitting the heavy bag. Check out Champions Boxing.
All right, Forrester, do it for us. We know it's Indiana. Show us that IU and where they slot in on that. Finishing that line of Nebraska, TCU, USC at 28, Auburn at 27, and at 26, just outside our top 25, the Hoosiers of Indiana. You had them higher?
I had them a little bit higher. I had them at 22. I think they're still a top 25 team based on this schedule and based on what Cignetti is doing right now in the transfer portal. I think they upgraded at quarterback. Like Curtis Rourke was very experienced coming from Ohio, but going out and getting Fernando Mendoza, a guy that had no shot of having success at Cal, I mean, I saw him single-handedly take over games and keep them in games.
Including an Auburn game.
Well, he was really good in the first half against Auburn. Auburn's defense adjusted, but Mendoza was maybe the difference in that game in the first half.
Well, you think about Cignetti. He gets a deal that's a little, it's $4 million and change when he goes from James Madison and takes the IU job. After 1 year having the best season in the 126-year history, their only double-digit win season, he's now getting $9 million a year.
That's crazy, isn't it? He's got good agents, by the way.
So I think now there is, I don't want to say pressure, but he is going to have to earn his keep a little bit. They have no Ohio State, no Michigan, no USC. They're probably favored in 9 games. And again, with Mendoza, I think they're an 8-4 team this year.
Yeah, I think they've got 2 scheduled road losses. But beyond that, I mean, everything else they've got is winnable. At Oregon, at Penn State, I cannot see them winning those games.
And people can say, guys, that, oh, man, Indiana, they had the weakest schedule last year. They still were 11-2. You know what their 2 losses were to? Notre Dame and Ohio State. What did Notre Dame and Ohio State have in common?
They ended up playing, as I remember it, for the national championship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those are the only 2 teams they lost to last year.
But look, LT, if I lose to Oregon and Penn State on the road, I have beaten Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, for those not familiar with that bundle of letters that is their logo. That is Indiana State. Larry Bird ain't walking through that door. Then Illinois, which will be a
nice win.
A nice win.
Yeah, big good win.
Iowa.
On the road would be a nice win.
That's okay win. Yeah.
Michigan State, UCLA, Maryland, Wisconsin, Purdue.
I mean, there's no great wins in there. But
what do you do? Like, they're going to be underdogs in those games against Oregon and Penn State. Those are top 5 teams. So if you go 10-2 and you're somewhat competitive in those games, I don't know how you can have an argument saying Indiana's, not worthy of wherever they are at the end of the year.
You mentioned their loss last year to Ohio State. Their only really meaningful win, am I right, was Michigan.
Yeah.
And they got in last year on the strength of that, and that was a very
I mean, the Ohio State game,
better than average
when you
Michigan
watched
team.
it play out, Ohio State was definitely the better team, no doubt. But there was some weirdness in that game.
It was all
The
special teams. Yeah, they had the punt muff. The punter dropped the ball or it got blocked or something.
It just went right through his hands.
Went through his hands, so that was a free touchdown. And then Caleb Downs returned the punt for a touchdown. They end up losing by 14, I think, or 14 or 21.
21, I think.
Yeah, so it was a closer game than the score would indicate, and that was in the horseshoe.
Yeah, both of those incidents happened in the waning minutes of the second quarter.
That's right.
So you went into the locker room, what was virtually tied, down a couple of touchdowns after the special team mishaps. That is our 40 and 40 team today. Indiana in at number 26. We move into our top 25 tomorrow. Before we get to the viewing menu, Odie's is going to give us a look at teams that are poised possibly to make their debut in the college football playoffs, off of Indiana, who made their debut in the playoffs last year. Tell us about Odie's, LT, and then we'll show you that list.
Odie's team trivia coming up tomorrow night, but you can get great food from Rodney Davis every single day. It's a Birmingham institution, 2 locations now, the original in Crestline, which we will be at tomorrow night after 8 o'clock. Newest location in Edgewood. Great food from the award-winning wings, delicious burgers, fantastic sandwiches, ice-cold beer buckets, full of the Bud Light, the great Odie's Famous Cup cocktails, live music on Fridays and Saturdays. Get in to see Will Ever and that great staff. It's Odie's Tavern.
So our friends at CBS Sports gives us this list of teams yet to make a college football playoff yet, poised to maybe do it in 2025. Their list includes Miami, Illinois, South Carolina, Florida, Louisville, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, and Auburn. That from our friends at CBS Sports. 12 teams. It's easier to get there now, but since 2014, those teams never have been to the college football playoffs, and those are the most likely ones, poised is the word they use, to make their first ever debut into the college football playoffs.
You know, it's pretty crazy, Brown, that both Florida and Miami, just based on what we have seen.
Exactly what I was going to say. In a decade, that those 2 teams, Lance, haven't made a playoff is crazy.
And I've got one team outside of those that I've got in the college football playoff. I do have Illinois sneaking in.
Do you now?
Yeah.
So you're buying Bielema, huh?
Well, throw the other team out there. Who is the team that you think can sneak in there that's not on that debut list from CBS?
Team could go 5-7. It's out of the Big 12. I think it's BYU. That's who I've got winning the Big 12.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can buy that. I mean, just about anybody can win the Big 12.
They should be on the list. I
agree.
I think they have a better chance than
several
of those.
Kansas State and Iowa State. I mean, I think what you do, I think the Big 12 is just all grouped together, and they're like one bid, and we don't know who it is, and we can't make this graphic any bigger because there are 4 or 5 teams out of the Big 12 that could actually make the run to the college football playoff.
If they had gone for the humor, they would have just put the Big 12 logo up there. Just put the Big 12 conference, and basically anybody that hasn't been in the playoffs, you got a shot.
Back to Eli Holstein, if he would have transferred to Stillwater, I think we would talk about Oklahoma State a little differently.
Yeah.
Outside of having an unproven quarterback, I mean, would you guys be completely shocked if Oak State goes from 0-9 in conference to winning the Big 12?
No. It seems like they've done that before.
Arizona State basically, I mean, they were picked dead last and won it last year.
But it seems like Gundy's done that before. Bad year and then turned around and won it the next year. It seems to almost be his MO. You see the list still up there if you're watching, but if you're listening, Miami, Illinois, South Carolina, those are 3 sexy offseason picks. Florida sort of getting into that category. Those bottom 4, Louisville, there's Texas A&M again after much discussed FPI in the first segment. Ole Miss, disappointing they haven't made it yet. And then there's Auburn down there on that list as well. That's from CBS Sports. They have a big write-up if you want to go check that out at cbssports.com about that. Let's see. There was a commitment before we see the viewing menu from Alabaster, Alabama. Now, if you're a 4-star edge rusher from Alabaster named Cameron Pritchett, you play at good old Thompson High School between the hills of old Shunnarah. You're going to go you're going to go Alabama, Auburn, right, Brownie?
4-star, maybe Clemson. We've seen Clemson from that school too.
Clemson, maybe Georgia. I mean, Kirby. You're going to go SEC at least, right?
Tell me Texas Tech. My guy come in here and buy a guy.
I'm not taking buying a guy off the table. But it ain't Texas Tech. He's going to go. I don't know if you listen. I grew up in Alabaster, right there in Shunnarah. I'm not sure you can get to this place from Shunnarah, Alabama. Eugene, Oregon. This kid commits to Oregon, the Ducks. Wow. That Thompson logo, that Thompson uniform in Autzen Stadium. That's the Hayes Fawcett
Now, is he a true Alabaster kid, or is he one of these that found an apartment last 11th hour?
Did he grow up in Eugene, maybe?
I cannot say if this is the first time he was recruited.
He said, I'm going back home to Oregon, guys. That time in Alabama's been great.
It's good. Hey, good-looking uniform on its way to Cam Pritchett. Congratulations to him. He's on his way to play Oregon. I'm looking forward to the high school.
It's the best thing Mario Cristobal does, by the way, is recruit.
Well, he's at Oregon. Mario's not there anymore.
Oh,
Dan
yeah, that's
Lanning.
right. Why did I say that?
I don't know.
It's not the best. Well, it's among the best things Dan Lenny does.
It's okay. It's still Monday in your brain, probably, anyway.
Yes, coming off the day
Michelson
off.
brings us the viewing menu. Tyler has it for us every day, brought to you by our friends at Michelson.
Yeah, 205-969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, true pioneer in the LASIK industry, first to perform the LASIK procedure in the state of Alabama way back in 1995. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. Make the phone call that I made over 2 decades ago, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. They're going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You have 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. 205-969-8100. I had the 2200 vision, now 2015 vision, better than 2020. Make the call that I made, 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
All right, starting off, we've got some new additions to Tubi. They've been adding some solid titles to their lineup, and it's free. You just have to watch ads.
Yeah, but basically their angle is they've got some of the worst straight-to-direct video or streaming service movies ever, and then they're starting to put some quality titles on top, right?
Yeah, they originally started with just getting all the wackiest stuff you could find. That's why I had that trash segment of all the weird Tubi movies. But they added a horror movie that I caught last year that I think is really solid called Cuckoo. And it's about a 17-year-old girl that has to leave America and live with her father in the German Alps. And then she starts seeing some strange things and getting some visions and hearing weird noises, and she has to dig into it. And it stars Hunter Schafer and Dan Stevens.
Okay, well, I don't know of either, but if you got relocated from Birmingham to the Alps.
The German Alps, I feel
we
weird.
used to hang out, Tyler, at a place called Cuckoo.
Cuckoo Room?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been there. That was a fun night.
So the German Alps is where, in The Sound of Music, that they walked from one side to the other side to get away from the Nazis, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, Julie
Andrews
Andrews.
into Switzerland.
Can you sing The Sound of Music?
I
you know,
cannot.
The Hills Are Alive.
I cannot, yeah.
Hills are alive.
And Maggie, it's one of her favorite movies. So, yeah, she could sing it.
It's another movie I've never seen.
You don't waste
I
your
don't
time.
think I'd like it.
You're not a musical guy.
No, I'm not a musical guy.
I don't know what the runtime is, but when
Seems long when it's on TV.
When we're watching it,
Yeah.
it seems extremely long because every now and then we end up in the same room when she's watching it, and I'm thinking to myself, well, this has to be coming to an end. But nope, now he's in a Nazi uniform, and now this and that, and
no decapitation, no nudity done away.
That's right.
How much is it?
2 hours 52 minutes.
That's a haul right there
That
now.
seems like half of it, to be honest with you.
It does seem like it's longer than that.
Yeah.
Also, Tubi has added the original Ninja Turtles cartoon from 1987. So if you want to just get a big bowl of Captain Crunch and watch the Ninja Turtles beat up Krang, you can do that on Tubi.
But if I'm watching Ninja Turtles, I need pizza, right?
Yeah, you need pizza, or you can get those old Hostess turtle pies. It was like a green cake.
Listen, I tried. Where was I? I was in Newark. And I tried a breakfast pizza one morning.
Not a fan.
Horrible.
Yeah,
It
not
was
a fan.
Horrible.
It's normally a little too heavy.
Yeah.
Well,
Just have eggs and sausage and all that on it.
The egg
Yeah.
doesn't stand up.
Yeah,
It doesn't
not a
stand
fan.
up.
Not
There was
a
a
fan.
gas station near my high school that always sold those breakfast pizzas.
Oh, my
That were
gosh.
just like ready to go.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought it was bad that I was eating chili dogs from the gas station, but breakfast pizzas.
Like I think.
Well, I tell you what, third period, I bet they hit you hard.
What do you eat? The breakfast. Taylor eats one too. It's like a tortilla
Burrito?
rolled up burrito. Breakfast burrito much better than a breakfast pizza.
100%.
I mean,
Yeah,
Chick-fil-A's got a good breakfast
Yeah,
burrito.
very good, very good.
Yep. Also, what are you doing tonight, Brown?
I think he's watching
Jurassic Park.
Is it on?
Die Hard is on.
Oh,
AMC,
is it? It's not
7
even
p.m.
Christmas. 7 p.m. AMC.
Yes.
Okay, I'll give it a try. I'm not sure if I'm going to be home by 7. I can set my DVR though.
Why would you watch it on AMC?
Yeah, I can just probably stream it anytime I want. Right?
That's true.
Yeah.
I told Jack Taylor you haven't seen either one, Jurassic Park
he
or
won't
Die
speak
Hard.
to me again
Well,
with
he
it.
was just like, man, he's so lucky. Like, he's going to get to see those for the first time.
So lucky.
But-
You're like, we can't get him to watch them.
Hey, speaking of, you got the Creature from the Black Lagoon on the hoodie.
Yeah.
That's one of the iconic early on monsters in cinema history.
Yeah, it's from the classic Universal Monsters lineup that had like Wolfman, the Bela Lugosi, Dracula, and then, who else was in it? Creature from the Black Lagoon, and then probably one other movie, Invisible Man.
Probably The Mummy.
Mummy was on
Creature
there
from
as
the Black Lagoon was kind of a pervert, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a weirdo. He was just after that one girl.
Yeah,
that
we just watch her swim, right?
And it was kind of like made as a love story.
Yeah,
almost.
yeah. And
It was weird.
abducts her, takes her underwater.
That's what Tyler's watching, brought to you by our friends at Michelson LT.
205-969-8100. Again, more information, MichelsonLaserVision.com.
When we come back, Clay Travis joins the conversation. It's the next round, brought to you from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studio, where you got a lot of fun on weekends to go out there with the pari-mutuel betting. It's always fun on a football Saturday and Sunday. Also brought to you by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
If you're looking to expand business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us. Send an email to sales@nextroundlive.com to be a part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platform. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, and reach the most desirable audience for your business. Get information and more by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
There's no off-season at covercrimson.com. Sign up now and get daily shows plus behind-the-scenes intel that will keep your Alabama fandom rolling all the way up until kickoff. Follow Cover Crimson on all social platforms and sign up today at covercrimson.com.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new Chicken and Bowberry Waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a Bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try Chicken and Bowberry Waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Yeah, I gave you one commitment already, but there's one coming. Guy visited Texas yesterday. And this will start a series of this family tree making official visits pretty soon. Named Gunner Rivers.
I heard of him.
Yeah.
He's apparently a stud. He throws just like his old man.
Is he as big as his old man?
I think so.
4-star quarterback visited Texas this week. Gunner is the son of Pro Bowler Phillip Rivers. And I'm right? They got a bushel of kids.
I think he's got 10, doesn't he?
You know you're officially getting old when you covered Phillip Rivers in his collegiate days and his kid's about to play college football.
Yep. And not just play, visiting Texas. Heir apparent to Arch Manning, maybe. We'll see about Gunner Rivers.
Have you seen him throw, though?
I have not seen anything.
It looks just like his dad. You know his dad's got
that little hitch?
Yeah, his dad had a very unique release that had a lot of people worried about him. It obviously worked in the NFL, but Gunner looks just like it.
While we wait on Clay Travis, I got an interesting story that I'll either tell you before or after Clay, after LT tells us about our friends. Well, let's go ahead and make it the Bojangles tender.
Oh, a tender moment?
Tender moment of the day, because this is pretty awesome.
You got a tender moment for us. All right, Bojangles right now reminds you that when it comes to dipping sauces, whether you like a little sweet or a little heat, they got you covered right there at Bojangles. 7 sauces that add flavor to every bite. Nothing pairs better with the sauces than the hand-breaded tenders. So if you're looking for sweet, try honey mustard, some tang with barbecue. If you want some heat, creamy buffalo or peach honey pepper. If you want smooth and creamy, house-made ranch, jalapeno ranch, or classic Bo sauce ready and waiting. So head to Bojangles, order some hand-breaded tenders with your favorite sauce today. It is Bo time. Be tender, Dunaway.
It is so good to be a kind person in this world. There's a very significant coach who opened his voicemail one day to this call. Hey, blank, this is Chris Peterson calling. I'm the former head coach at Boise State and the University of Washington. I've just been thinking about you. I know you're going through some hard times right now. That story in The Athletic today, that coach, Sean McVay, he said after the disastrous 2022 season, he opened up his voicemail one day, and it was Chris Peterson calling him, telling him that, listen, I know you're in the middle of it. This is the rest of the message. I know you're in the middle of a storm right now. It's real gray. Things are cloudy. I just saw that press conference. I see that you're crying out for help. I just want to be able to reach out and say that it gets better. If you need anything, let me know, Chris Peterson. How about that?
I wonder if that was Chris Peterson's subliminal, don't get into broadcasting. You're going to miss coaching.
That's right.
No, that was him saying.
No,
dude,
I'm not saying that's still not really sincere that he's reaching out. But, that was the crossroads where people were really talking about McVay getting out of coaching. And, that 5-12, a lot of that was Matt Stafford being banged up. When you lose your quarterback, you're just not going to win games. I mean, that is the outlier. That is the only sub-500 year McVay's ever had. And I know you guys poke at me a little bit, but honestly, if I'm taking one active coach in football, I think Sean McVay might be the best active coach in football in any level.
Better than Andy Reid?
Andy Reid has got a guy named Patrick Mahomes, right?
It kills me how you always discount a coach because they got a really good player. Like almost every coach ever has had a really good player.
I am just saying, though, it is easier for guys like Belichick and Andy Reid to have these accolades when they got the 2 greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Sean McVay, a player in my tender moment, Chris Peterson reaching out of nowhere. They had no relationship at all. Chris Peterson
cool.
just calls out. That's our Bojangles tender moment of the day. Let's get to Clay Travis.
All right, Clay Travis, Outkick founder. He is also on Fox, at Clay Travis on social media. He is with us on the Alexander Shunnarah hotline. What is up, Clay? How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Doing fantastic. I don't want to, nobody can see this except us. Where are you?
Airport?
The Bahamas.
Okay.
Airport?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I days kind of run together. I wasn't sure what day it was, when you're living down in the island. So I'm headed back stateside a little bit later this afternoon.
Okay. Well, I hope the trip was great.
I mean, who the hell are you, Kenny Chesney? You're always in the islands now.
Well, I mean, there's worse places to be, right? Especially when it's the off season. So yeah, I'm down here for a while, and we'll be back. I'm basically on the road for all of June, but I'll be back after the 4th.
So I had a weird dream last night about you that the president endorsed.
Oh, well, I don't know where this is going. By the way. This is not the time for confessions.
The president endorsed your book, like the president of the United States endorsed your book in my dream. That was weird to me. That would never happen in real life, right?
Yeah. In real life he did it. Yeah, and he's obviously a big fan. He's got great taste. Our friendship is mutual, so it's not bad to have the president endorse your book that doesn't even come out till November.
Hey, so literally though, do you have his cell number? Like, does Donald Trump have a personal cell phone where, like, the Secret Service has nothing to do with it, and he's able to text and talk to whoever he wants?
I've got it. I don't know if it's still active, but Donald Trump was on with us back in the radio days, and I had his cell number. Now, it's probably changed since then.
Yeah, wow. He does have a cell. I don't think he texts. He has a couple of assistants that are with him at all times that will send text messages on his behalf, which is very funny. And they're great and friends, so we communicate a lot that way. It is, if you need to get in touch with anybody in the Trump administration, I'm probably able to call him.
Do you think if Brown was to send one emoji to that number, he could be arrested for 10 years? Seriously, just one emoji. I'm just like, if you sent like the gun emoji.
Don't want to send the gun emoji.
Yeah,
I wouldn't think.
Eggplant, a little questionable. Gun, definitely arrested.
Yeah.
Smiley face, I think I'm okay.
Definitely. Yeah. Smiley face, probably careful. Emoji crime charges would be well, first of all, I know you're a popular guy, but Alabama, you'd get convicted in a heartbeat. I think Trump's quite a bit more popular than any of you guys or me, certainly in the state of Alabama.
Yeah, I would agree 100% with that.
Wow. Save that clip there for us. That's the first time Clay on our air has ever admitted somebody's more popular than him. We may need to bring that back in the future. Clay,
there's very few that would be, but I would put him in that camp, yeah.
Hey, Tommy Tuberville is going to run for governor. Did you ever bash Tommy Tuberville as a football coach? Do you think he'll be a good governor?
I like Tommy. I think it'd be a good choice. I mean, I don't know if anybody's running against him. I haven't seen the list, but I would be stunned if he's not going to win in a landslide as soon as Trump endorses him, if Trump hasn't already. I haven't kept up with that. I think he was on Clay and Buck Wednesday, I think, of last week. I know I was out and announced there as well as on Fox News. So I would expect that Tuberville will win a landslide election. You guys would probably know better than me who, if anybody, is challenging him, but I wouldn't think that they have much of a challenge. And, I know, and I haven't seen the latest, I know there was talk about Bruce Pearl potentially going to the Senate. And I would be happy to vote for Bruce Pearl if I lived in Alabama. I don't think Bruce Pearl is going to do it. So I would imagine there will be a battle in the primaries. I really like Katie Britt and her husband. I like Tommy, and obviously I love Pearl. I tend to think that Alabama's done pretty well in the electoral politics universe. Believe it or not.
Oh, believe it or not, we're not complete idiots here. I know we get labeled as that. We're not complete idiots.
I'm saying I'm giving a super compliment there since I'm supposed to be the most anti-Alabama person. I'm saying you guys have actually done a really good job of I think picking leaders.
Yeah, I need to look. Tuberville was reelected. No, he's back up in 2026. I was going to see if there would be an appointment there. So that seat will be open.
I don't know what the Alabama, state governor's kind of situation is in races like these. I know Marsha Blackburn is going to announce in Tennessee. And the reason why I bring it up is it could be a situation where Tuberville and Blackburn are both able to promote and or give the job that they're stepping down from to someone new. So the governor of Tennessee in 2026 taking office in 27, I believe, is similar as Alabama, where you would have both Tuberville and Blackburn, who are both sitting United States senators, potentially appointing their replacements as the governors taking over in the states, which is a unique situation that I don't think happens very often.
And that's what I was looking at. If Tuberville tapped out just to run for governor, Bruce Pearl could have, it would be an appointment by Kay Ivey, so he could be appointed by Kay Ivey. Clay Travis is with us from the Bahamas on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline, at Clay Travis on social media. You are, because Tennessee has gotten good in baseball, you are now a big college baseball fan. I ask you were, it seemed like on social media, Clay, making the case that this is the best postseason we have in college athletics. Do I misrepresent your stance on that?
No, I think it's the most underrated.
Okay.
I think the NCAA tournament is tough to top. And I don't think it's the best way to crown a champion, but I think it's the most exciting. If we got to a 16-team college football playoff, which is where I think we should go, then I think that would be in the running. But I think certainly, and look, I've been a college baseball fan actually because this is a dead zone for sports. And if you don't love the NBA Finals matchup, I actually think the College World Series is way more entertaining than the NBA Finals. And we actually got into it back when I did local sports talk radio because I really like Tim Corbin. And obviously Vanderbilt had some and has had many different compelling runs. They've been in the championship series 4 times, won it twice. So that actually is when I started paying a lot of attention to college baseball. So about a decade ago. And then obviously, Tony Vitello and Tennessee have gotten really, really good in the last 5 years, defending national champs. And I actually think there's a good chance that whoever wins that Arkansas-Tennessee series, which is coming up this weekend in Fayetteville, will be the favorite to win the College World Series. Because if you look, Tennessee, LSU, and Arkansas are all like in the same quad of the bracket. And clearly, I think the 3 best teams alongside of North Carolina left in the 16 remaining teams.
That said, though, this was an embarrassing performance by the SEC, was it not? To get that many teams in and only 4 survived through the regionals. And listen, we hammer the SEC drum on this show, but I found that embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how the 4 remaining do. I think maybe there was a little bit of exaggeration in terms of the failure of the SEC in the NCAA tournament. And then as the tournament continued, the teams that did advance had a tremendous amount of success and ended up, you guys may remember off the top of your head, what was it, half of the Elite 8? It's still a decent possibility that 3 of the final 8 are going to be from the SEC, and we'll see how those teams end up playing out. But yeah, look, I mean, I think when 1 and 2 both lose and are both from your conference, Georgia taps out at 7 as the 7 seed. I think Ole Miss taps out as the 10 seed. 4 of the top 10 to lose were all from the SEC, which is not a good look. And the conference, I think, underperformed in the opening play-in rounds.
I know you want to believe this, but over the next 3 years, would you put money on Heupel having more wins than DeBoer?
Next 3 years, Heupel having more wins than DeBoer. That's a really good question because I feel very good about the Tennessee quarterback situation. I don't think I'm as well plugged in with the Alabama quarterback recruiting situation. You mean head-to-head or you mean total wins?
Well, I'm just talking about total wins. If you just went,
So I also think this is interesting. What is the schedule going to look like in the SEC? Are they going to go to 9, and are we going to get the 3 perpetual, rivals, and how is that going to be stacked up? I mean, I figure Tennessee and Alabama will still play every year, probably, and certainly Alabama and Auburn will. But I'm not sure what the draw for Tennessee elsewhere. I mean, there's arguments out there that Tennessee should get Vanderbilt and Kentucky and Alabama.
Yeah, you'd sign up for that.
I'd sign up for that. Look, I mean, I'm just looking out for what's in the best interest of the conference, and I think preserving the Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Tennessee, Kentucky rivalry is really important. I think the challenge is you don't know exactly what the schedule is going to look like, but I think Tennessee and Alabama are functional even now, and Tennessee's won 2 of the last 3. If Nico were coming back, I'd be more confident this year on the road against Alabama. But I really don't know what to expect with Joey Aguilar, so I think that's difficult to predict. The next year, Tennessee's going to have I feel like a really, really good. They got the number 1 quarterback in America basically committed already to Heupel, and he should be enrolled in December. And then I know they really like the 4 and the 5-star that they have that are young. That may end up starting before the end of this season. So I feel really good about the quarterback position. Tennessee being able to score. Recruiting has been performing at a super high level. There is not some massive difference in overall talent between Tennessee and Alabama like there has been in the past. So I feel like they're a functional evens. And, I'll take Tennessee over Alabama over the next 3 years.
A little side wager?
Uh-oh.
So that's what, 12 games a year, 13. I mean, are we counting playoffs?
Whatever the total number of wins is over the next 3 years, DeBoer v. Heupel. And we'll just do a friendly $1,000 wager over the next 3 years.
Just a friendly $1,000. That's $333 a year.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
Right.
Hey, so I know you're super excited about Dunaway dreaming about you. You're not going to like this. Last week on the show, he said Sydney Sweeney's boobs are too big and she's average.
I didn't say average. I said overrated. Overrated.
Well, I mean, that's what I would expect a Kamala voter from Alabama to say.
I knew it was coming.
I mean, this is typical white dude for Harris talking points. Sydney Sweeney's boobs are too big. I don't like pretty girls. Like they get too much of a privilege.
You don't think boobs can be too big? You talked boobs on, was it CNN? You were on Fox, whatever you were on. You talked boobs back then. You named. You're the one that needs to have some confessions. You named your new book Balls. But you made your heyday talking about boobs. I don't know if they're more of a transformation for you from Democrat to Republican or from boobs to balls, but
anybody who is anti-Sydney Sweeney is, to me, making an indefensible argument. Yeah. I love everything about her. She seems to have a great sense of humor, but even if she didn't, I would be a big fan. So,
I just think I think they can be too big, in my opinion.
Well, yes, but I mean, we're not talking about like Morgana back in the day running around the kissing bed.
I forgot about Morgana.
Those were massive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're not talking about that kind of chaos. I would acknowledge on that level, but Sydney Sweeney seems absolutely perfect to me. I think she's a star talent and deserves all of her acclaim.
Safe travels, Clay. As always, thank you for the time. All right.
I'll see you guys.
All right, bye.
Nice of him to jump on from the Bahamas there, where that's not a country where you're walking through and they've got
it's a small airport.
Armed, like when I landed in Jamaica the first time, you had armed guards with real machine guns standing by.
Cabo is crazy with how, like, it's almost like, they've got tactical everywhere on street corners.
Yeah, Bahamas not that way though, right? I've never been.
I've never been to the Bahamas.
I mean, that's where Atlantis is.
I'll tell you, Bahamas is rough though. So I took Jack to Atlanta spring break 2017, and when we were leaving to go to the airport, it was like 4:30 in the morning, and we got in. There's a lot of unmarked taxis there, Ubers,
100%, yeah.
And we got in one, and I had the weirdest feeling, and so I immediately got me and Jack out of there. Bahamas is not the safest place.
Yeah.
If you're on site, you're okay.
See, I did cruise ship dock there for a day, and that's how I got there. So it was off the cruise ship to Atlanta, spent the day at Atlantis, back to the cruise ship. But in one of those, but it was daylight, but one of those unmarked cabs, and it did not. The vibe was not good.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not good at all.
By the way, Alexander Shunnarah, Trial Attorneys Hotline is where you're feeling Clay from Bahamas.
And the show brought to you by our friends at Company Distilling.
Company Distilling, it's finally in Alabama. We had Jeff Arnett, the master distiller, in studio with us last week. There is a special edition of Bama and Bourbon Up, and you can check out the variations that Company Distilling has now in the state, but across the state, all ABC stores. You've been waiting to try a whiskey that is as good as the company you keep. This is your moment. Find your bottle, learn more. CompanyDistilling.com/Alabama. Not only in Alabama, you can pick it up in Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, South Carolina. Must be 21 plus to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. Award-winning bourbon now in Alabama. For more information, CompanyDistilling.com/Alabama. Pick up a bottle today.
36-hole U.S. Open qualifiers earlier this week all over the country. One story involving Nick Barnett, a UPS driver who had the day off. He's from Cantonsville, Maryland. He goes out and scores a 73, which keeps him in contention on the front 18. So he's woofing down a hot dog and a beverage in between his two rounds of 18. Got to play 36. And while he's finishing up his hot dog, he feels in his back pocket his scorecard.
Oh, no. He didn't turn it in?
And he goes down 20 minutes after his round, and it's too late for him to turn in the scorecard, so he's disqualified.
How low do you get?
And the UPS driver is out of the qualifying that afternoon. He did not get to play. 73 had him. I mean, he'd had to do some work.
He'd had to play
in.
really well. I don't know how many they had getting in from that. Probably only two.
One job, though, right? Outside of playing golf.
What's that?
Turning that card.
Yeah. You've probably got 10 minutes. It would depend based on event, but I would imagine there was probably a 10-minute limit. I mean,
he must have been starving.
I guess so. I mean, there could be a quick turnaround there. Like Jim said, you're playing 36, so you've got limited time between rounds. It's golf's longest day, they call it. Yeah. And that's unfortunate, man. But you're right. He would have probably had to shoot in the mid to low 60s in that next round.
Would they care if you're out there pounding beers if that's just the way you play better?
I don't know what the policy for the USGA is.
Yeah.
John Daly's about to open his own course.
I mean, you guys have seen it before. You all play a lot of casual golf, but I mean, there's some guys.
Get them in the beer window.
Yeah, and they're much better.
Yeah.
High schooler Mason Howell from Thomasville, Georgia, Brownie, he qualified for the U.S. Open.
In spectacular fashion, Jim. 18 under over 36 holes yesterday at Piedmont Driving Club in Atlanta. And I've got a friend that is a member there. I've got an invite. I have yet to be able to go, but I texted him this morning or last night. And he responded this morning. I was like, I saw somebody shot 18 under over 36 on your course. He says, man, this course could be gettable sometimes. That's an incredible round in U.S. Open qualifying, and it's a high schooler.
17 years old.
That's
from
insane.
Thomasville. He goes 63-63, and he's in the U.S. Open. Who's not in the U.S. Open? Max Homa, Ricky Fowler. They left the Memorial. They go to Columbus, where there are 6 spots because it's so close to a PGA event available. 5 people earned their way in, and then a host of players were tied at 5 under. That included Max Homa, Ricky Fowler, and Cam Young, and 2 other PGAers I didn't know.
Those are big names. How does Max Homa end up on his own bag?
Well, he and his caddy parted, but
he carried it for 36 holes. Fowler, Homa, Cam Young in the playoff for 1 spot, 5 golfers. Cam Young wins it. He's in the U.S. Open. Homa and Fowler and the other 2 PGAers not in the finals. They're out.
Yeah, 5 for 1 in Columbus. That's what you sign up for at that place because, like you said, that's got the most spots available because it's close to the PGA event. So the one in Columbus is always the most competitive one, and you get a ton of tour guys there, and the cream rises. I mean, you basically had 5 tour guys playing for 1 spot. And
that is wild.
Yeah, and Homa is, he's going through a swing change, so his game has fallen off a lot, but he also just parted with his caddy. Now, sometimes because that's not an official event, there's no money on the line, the caddies don't participate. Sometimes you're on your own, maybe your buddy caddies for you, just tote your own clubs. But Homo was doing that yesterday. He walked 36 with his bag.
A random golf story. We were meeting with a new client yesterday, and they brought up, Sepp Straka lives in the Birmingham area. He played Hoover 1 time, and he's got the course record, 62.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you go out and play a course 1 time and you fire a 62?
Those tour guys are a different cut, man.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
So the U.S. Open's a week from this weekend, so less than 14 days away. Scheffler of the field.
Oh, I'd take the field, but Scheffler is easily your favorite. But I'd still take the field.
Gun to head, I would take Scheffler. Is if I only had one guy, but I would take the field.
Yeah, 143 other golfers in there, so Scheffler.
If I gave you Scheffler and 2 other guys, do you think you could pick at the winner?
Scheffler, DeChambeau, and I'd have to think on who my third would be.
Well, you go DeChambeau quickly.
Yeah, I mean he's good in the majors.
Yeah,
and he's the defending champion.
Who would you take as your third? We used to do this with Wimp, and we would give Wimp 5.
Yeah.
And it always seems to balance out. Like he would win, then we would win.
I'd have to think of who my third would be. But Scheffler and DeChambeau would be definitely my 2 picks.
Or Bethpage, right? Or is that the Ryder Cup?
That's the Ryder Cups at Bethpage. This is Oakmont and Pennsylvania, which is probably the most difficult U.S. Open track they play.
Shoffley or Morikawa?
It's where our buddy Jamie Thompson used to work.
That's right, he did.
Yep, at Oakmont.
It would be; those would all be in the discussion, Lance. Of that group, probably Shoffley. I just have to look, but I would definitely go Scheffler, DeChambeau 1-2.
Couple of our great sponsors. When we come back, we'll do 4 downs off of Indiana being part, some celebrity birthdays. Also, an interesting discussion coming up in our final hour about the College Football Hall of Fame, some familiar names in that mix. Urology Centers of Alabama bringing you the show here. Don't forget at UCA, they've got 16 locations to help you stay on top of your health. 205-930-0920, 205-930-0920, Urology Centers of Alabama. Prostate health, kidney stones, vasectomies, and everything in between. Go and check out and make an appointment today. UrologyCentersAlabama.com. And also our friends at Hemphill.
205-229-2090. Make sure that HVAC unit ready to keep up with this changing weather. If you experience any issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at Scott Forrester TV.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
As we all know, there's no off season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Auburn, join us over on thebarnauburn.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on thebarnauburn.com.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1? Find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2? Stream it now. Miss Hour 3? Download it for later. Miss Hour 4? Well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services be performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Okay, we'll talk College Football Hall of Fame ballot in about 25 minutes. Some good questions for you there. But first, can you be fired? Can you be fired for allegedly choking a player and slapping a player at halftime of a game, and then later on be inducted into that school's Hall of Fame? Is that possible?
Wait, by the fact you're asking the question, I would assume it's happened. I would say generally, if you slap a player and choke a player.
Let me demonstrate.
Okay.
Choke.
Yeah.
Slap.
Yeah, I was aware of, yeah.
Is this
fired?
Is this Bobby Knight?
I was about to say, Lance,
is it?
he
It's not Rutgers, is it?
Who was that?
The Rice coach. What was
I
his name?
forgot about him, yeah.
Show him who it is, Forrester. Unveil. It is Jim Leavitt at South Florida.
Yes.
He was fired in January of 2010 at the time for allegedly during the 2009 season of choking, grabbing a player by the throat. Technically, they didn't use the word choking, and slapping a player at halftime of a game. In 2007, he had South Florida number 2 in the country, won 3 bowl games, 9 wins, took them from 1AA into Division I.
Boy, they fell apart at the end of the year, but yes.
Yeah,
but still, man, Jim Leavitt was a really good coach, and if you don't remember them making that transition to the FBS, he was working out of a trailer.
Yeah, they showed it every game.
Yeah, that program was absolutely nothing without him. He, and say what you want about South Florida, I still think it can be a really good program. Alex Golish is kind of hovering right now, and we'll see what direction that goes in. But I thought for a time Leavitt was doing a hell of a job.
I'm such a college football snob, though. I do remember that year. They started there, I think it was week 2 where they played Auburn, and they beat them, I think, in overtime. His memory serves like 26-23 or something like that.
I feel like I was at that game.
Were you?
You remember the linebacker? I forgot his name, but his wife, always the wifey, she'd wear the shirt.
Yeah. And then they beat West Virginia, which was like the power at that time. It was back Rich Rod's West Virginia, right? So they beat them. But I remember as that season was trucking along and they climbed up to number 2, I am such a college football snob. I'm like, I do not want to watch a college football season where South Florida is going to play for a national championship.
Yeah, because
I don't want any part of this.
So it would have been South Florida if they were number 2 versus a powerhouse.
Yeah, whoever it ended up being. I guess it was LSU.
Do you remember who their quarterback was?
Grothy?
Yeah, Matt Grothy.
Matt Grothy. Yeah, he played in the NFL some, right?
He was a good college quarterback.
Yeah.
He is going into the South Florida Hall of Fame. They did not mention the alleged slapping and choking or the dismissal or the $2.75 million wrongful termination settlement that the school in Leavitt reached. He would go on and coach with the 49ers and some other places since then, but Jim Leavitt going in. Hey, can I get a Leavitt picture up again? Tyler, I'm going to need you on the big screen as well. There's Leavitt for some of you watching. Can you put Jim Leavitt up on the screen for the boys to look at? We're going to play the Jim Leavitt's his name, Leavitt, Jim Leavitt.
Always looked a little sloppy on the sidelines to me.
I'm not a visor guy.
Okay, Jim Leavitt, tell me who he looks like. Forrester nailed this in a heartbeat.
So is this, first of all, did Forrester do a combo like this looks like so had a baby?
No, straight person. Do that one right there. Do that one.
Okay.
Sankey and Dabo have a kid.
Okay, I can see that.
That may not be the best one, Forrester, but
who'd you say, Scott?
Klatt.
Huh?
It's Klatt.
It went old.
It's old Joel Klatt.
Maybe it's Klatt when he hit 60.
Yeah. Old Joel Klatt.
You know, the sad thing is, I think
Maybe
Levitt,
with a little bit of Beaker.
I think Levitt here's in his 40s, so not much older than Klatt.
That coaching puts years on you.
No, it does.
Wait, who is Beaker? Because I got a friend who looks sort of like that, and his nickname is Beaker.
Muppets.
Muppets.
Oh, okay.
Beaker and Bunsen.
Yeah,
okay.
you know,
I never
Brunson was-
understood. I never knew why we called him Beaker.
But do you remember the
nose.
Beaker? Didn't he? He'd go.
I never knew why we called him Beaker. I mean, I still.
Has he got a
friends
big
with him.
nose, I guess?
Looks a little bit like Joel, like Jim Levitt.
Yeah.
Beaker. Yeah.
Yeah, you remember Beaker?
Yeah.
Does that look like your buddy?
A little bit. Yeah. Blonde hair instead of orange. But
I tell you, Levitt's got Beaker's hair.
He does a little bit. He does have Beaker. No, that visor looks like those stupid visors that have hair sewn in them that people wear.
Yep.
That's what Levitt looks like wearing that visor.
Yeah, you go by Walmart and they have like an Alabama one with like crimson and white hair sticking out of the top.
Yeah, it's terrible.
But if you're a visor guy, you're only visor, right? Like I see,
guess.
it seems like the people that wear visors only wear.
I don't
visors.
really understand the visor.
Tell me
personally.
the time you've seen Kirby Smart in a full
I
hat.
haven't.
Never.
I haven't. He's a visor guy.
I've never seen Steve Spurrier in a full hat.
Visor guy. I think Schottenheimer with the Cowboys is a visor guy, and he says he does it as a tribute to Spurrier.
No, that's good. Show brought to you by our friends at New Life Art. Daniel A. Moore with a little basketball print, the buzzer beater from the big Alabama win at Auburn back in basketball season. That's one of his new prints. There's so many prints he has that I never even noticed until I come across them, and I'm like, man, I should find somewhere to look at all the prints. Oh, there is a place. It's DanielMooreArt.com. DanielMooreArt.com. Find something that works for you. Promo code TNR includes the legend. Nick Saban's 6 national championships, pay tribute to that and all the other great works of Alabama sports right there at DanielMooreArt.com, promo code TNR. And also by our friends at New York Butcher, LT. Before we get to 4 downs, tell us about New York Butcher.
Yeah, I had an opportunity to go in and see the great staff that Jim has assembled there at the the Greystone location on Saturday. Picked up some steaks for me and Jack and Jace from the Fresh Meats, the deli sandwiches, specialty items, the great side dishes made in-house, including the mashed potatoes with goat cheese, fantastic selection of fine wines and desserts, one-stop dinner shop, 2 locations, the original Cabo Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone, rare quality, well-done service. It's the New York Butcher Shop.
All right, as Tyler cranks up the music, I'll give you time to pull up your 4 downs here. Indiana is our team at number 26 in our 40 and 40 countdown, and sometimes we get a 40 and 40 countdown question in our 4 downs.
First down.
More wins this year. The Indianapolis Colts or the Indiana Hoosiers?
I think Indiana Hoosiers could get to 7 or 8, and I don't think the Colts will. So I think I'd go Indiana Hoosiers in this one.
I think Shane Steichen is a good coach, but
He's
now the
quarterback hamstrung.
The problem is you've got Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones, and I've just got this bad feeling that it's going to be back and forth.
Neither one of them are good. Yep.
Average year where they end up going probably 7 and 10.
Yeah.
And I've got a feeling that Indiana is not going to live up to 11 wins again or 10 wins again. But I think Indiana will win 8 or 9 games.
If you could ever bottle the Daniel Jones you got in that postseason game at Minnesota, that may be the best he ever was for the Giants.
Do you remember the game earlier, was it 2 years ago or last year, Will Levis threw 5 touchdowns? If you could bottle that.
If you could bottle that, yeah.
2 games with the Jaguars, 2 games with the Titans.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Probably splitting, though.
So, that's the equivalent of playing Duquesne, Kennesaw State, and Indiana State.
It is. That's what you get in that division.
So now we're equal, getting into some tougher games for both. I'm going to go Hoosiers, 7-6 for the Colts. But probably a 7-7 tie, to be honest. Said and done.
This is so random that I just thought of this. I was down in Florida this weekend, and it reminded me of when you used to go to Florida in like July or August. This is before the NFL Network showed preseason games, and they would have the Sunshine Network, so I'd get to watch a Dolphins preseason game. They'd show the Bucks and the Jags, and that's before preseason football was readily available. And it was like a treat to be in Florida, and at night I flip on Sunshine Network, and Paul Kennedy's doing a Dolphins preseason game. I don't know why. I was just in Florida over the weekend. It made me think of that.
Still don't understand why, with the NFL Sunday ticket, you don't have access to all the preseason games.
I know. But you get more now than you used to. You would get no preseason games. You might get like a channel here locally taking the Falcons or the Titans.
Oh, if you had the DirecTV card, you got them all.
Oh, yeah.
Is there not a package that's starting this year that gives you that?
Maybe
I've never heard of that.
All the exhibition
Used to,
games?
Jim. Used to, you have to sign up for NFL.com. There's a package on NFL.com where you can stream it. Because I did that. This is such a sad admission. I was so excited when the Dolphins got Jay Cutler. And I know everybody's like, you were excited the Dolphins got Jay Cutler? If y'all remember Dolphins quarterbacking after Dan Marino, yes, I was excited about Jay Cutler.
Should have been.
And I got that package so I could watch all the preseason games. That's the only way I know for sure out of market that you can get them. It's at NFL.com, but you have to pay for it. I was paying for preseason football to watch Jay Cutler.
Should be part of the Sunday ticket. I agree with you.
Second down.
It's amazing this question's even being asked, but another double-digit win season first. Indiana, who had their first in 126 years last year, or USC?
I mean, I got to go USC.
I swear, I thought after the way you jumped on them yesterday, I thought you were about to say Auburn.
I did too. That's what I expected coming next.
Well, I mean,
you want to change it?
I would definitely take Indiana in front of Auburn. I mean, I would.
Yeah.
And I didn't jump on them. I mean, facts are facts, right?
Facts are facts, sir. I'm going to say USC.
I think I would go USC too. It is hard to go Vandy doing it again.
I'm going to go USC. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to believe that Indiana's going to do it again. Boy, if they do, how good of a coach is Cignetti?
Oh, I mean, fantastic. Again, I know it's 3 layup out of conference games, but this is also Indiana. And he's already had them in the playoffs once and crap. I guess, if they're a 10-win season, we looked at it. They wouldn't have any good wins, but they're probably right back in the playoffs, being a Big Ten 10-win team.
Yeah. Dare I say he becomes almost Petrino McVay-esque if he gets 10 wins again this year.
Would you guys be surprised? You know how we are all into fads, and if something hits, everybody wants the next. I mean, whether it was the coaching tree from Saban or Sean McVay. But this would be, okay, Kirk Cignetti was old, but he was never given a shot. These older coaches that have never been given a shot, I don't know who the example of that guy, maybe Jim Knowles. Do we hire these guys that have never had head jobs before? I would not be surprised if you saw a trend like that.
I'll give you a really good example, and he got mentioned a lot. I think he even got mentioned in several Alabama searches, was Mickey Andrews, the defensive coordinator for Bobby Bowden at Florida State, and he just retired with Coach Bowden. He's like, I'm going to be a defensive coordinator my whole career, and we'll retire with Coach Bowden. Yeah. And that's what he did.
Was it Arnsberger or something like that?
Yeah,
he was
LSU.
a long-time LSU DC, Dolphins DC.
Yeah.
But Arnsberger ended up getting the job.
Yeah. He got the LSU job?
He got the LSU job, yeah.
Okay.
They finally gave him a chance, but he was
and he wasn't very good, right?
I don't think he was very successful. But there are some old coordinators that, Bill Oliver would have been an example at one point. Never really got a shot.
Was only an interim coach, right?
Yep.
Was he head coach at Chattanooga for a minute, but never got a bigger time job? Yeah.
He was a head coach at Chattanooga.
Third down.
Current job longer, Kirk Cignetti or Jonathan Smith at Michigan State?
Well, you really like Jonathan Smith.
I do.
He just got Jay Batt as his new AD, leaving Georgia Tech.
That's good for him, too. That guy knows how to raise money.
It is. Good fundraiser, easy to raise money. A lot of big boosters there at Michigan State.
Doesn't Michigan State seem like one of those jobs? Obviously, they can pay a lot of money. You saw the ridiculous contract they gave to Mel Tucker. But it still seems like a job, if Jonathan Smith had success, would take another job.
I would agree. Yeah. That's why I was going to say Kirk Cignetti at Indiana. I think that's his retirement there.
Just win 6-7 games. Nobody's ever going to say anything.
Right. And I guarantee you this new contract he's got is so Cignetti friendly, they'll never buy it out. I say that. Tom Allen's was too, and they bought that one out.
Rocket Mortgage guy at Michigan State. That's who I would lean on. I'm going to go with Jonathan Smith, and I can see the Spartans being a playoff team sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I mean, if this time next year we're talking about, damn, Michigan State out of nowhere won 8 games last year. They've got everybody coming back.
It seems like in the Big Ten, there's just not enough teams that there's always going to be one of those fourth place like teams that's going to have a weak schedule.
Indiana this year, it could be Michigan
Indiana
State
last year.
Yep.
Illinois this year,
Yep.
could be Michigan State.
I agree with
very
you.
soon. I'll take Smith.
Almost like
Fourth down.
Almost like the Big Ten could stack the conference schedule where those teams only get one tough conference game,
Yeah.
I'm going to take Cignetti just because I think Smith will take another job. Rafael Nadal, 39 years old. Ultimately better career, Rafael Nadal or Andy Reid?
Well, I thought it was a cool, I don't know if they do this on the center court at Roland Garros for everyone, but they put his footprint in the clay.
Oh, that's cool.
Forever. His footprint will forever be Nadal's at the clay at Roland Garros.
He owns it.
Yeah, he's the greatest French Open of all time, right?
You think 14 of them?
Off to the side, they've got a little plaque with a clay footprint in it.
That's really cool.
That will be there forever. I thought that was a cool way of honoring him. And all the four greats men's tennis recently were there to do that as play continues today at the clay in Paris. I'm going to go Nadal.
Yeah, I would go Nadal too.
I think so. I mean,
because it's not a one. If Nadal only won French, then you could say something. But I mean, he's won I think multiple Wimbledons.
I can make the argument though. Andy Reid's second best NFL coach of all time. I can make that argument. It may not be right. You guys may not agree, but it's a worthwhile argument.
Yeah,
right?
look,
I mean, you go Belichick 1, Reid 2.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely one of the top 5 coaches of all time.
You got to include Tom Landry, Don Shula,
Vince
Bill
Lombardi.
Walsh, Vince Lombardi. I mean, there's a lot of guys you got to put in there, but I think Andy Reid's worthy of discussion.
I'd throw Chuck Noll in there.
Chuck Noll, that's fine. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot in there, but I think Andy Reid's in that group.
Bill Walsh, you said.
I said Bill Walsh, yeah.
You say McVay?
I did not say McVay. Win one more and you start to get in there.
Yeah, you really do.
But I would go Nadal, but usually I'm a football guy.
Nadal's got 14 French Open wins.
Is that singles? French Open singles?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And 2 Grand Slam completions. So
That's
that
ridiculous.
is winning the Australian Open, French Open, Wimbledon, and the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
So,
You know, we kind of, because I don't think we care personally, kind of missed the golden era of tennis, did we not? With the Williams sisters and with Nadal
and Fed.
Yeah, and Federer and Joker.
And Joker.
So Scott is showing the photo. So that's
Isn't that pretty
that
cool?
is really cool. So that's there forever.
Man, I used to, and I know you guys were the same way, would grab any kind of sports programming I could get as a kid, whether it was AJ Foyt behind the wheel of the 4-car or any Wimbledon on HBO.
That was the crazy thing is like Wimbledon, you wanted to watch it more when you couldn't get it.
Yeah.
When it was on HBO.
I think that's just human nature, but like now I just don't care at all about
You know
tennis.
why? You know why?
Why?
Because television's so much better. We have so many options.
We have so many streaming options.
Yeah.
I sit down every afternoon, and I love the Women's College World Series. And I've been lucky enough to catch just the ending of a couple of games, but I used to watch it religiously. But now I'd get home in the afternoon, I'm going to have lunch, and I'm like, okay, do I jump into this Texas Tech whomever game, or do I want to stream, the latest, version of Friends with Neighbors?
Well, but
there's a choice.
It is too easy, and then having the ability just to binge. Like I was telling Tyler, Jack had never seen True Detective the season 2, and most people absolutely hate it. But we started watching it over the weekend and knocked out all 8 episodes.
But the other aspect of it is with the world we live in now. If I miss a big moment, I know I'm going to see it.
Yeah.
There's not the urgency to watch it live, because if there is a big moment, it's going to be all over social media in 2 minutes. And I can always just go back and watch it on DVR or, wherever on demand.
Right. Like I didn't watch, that was 4 Downs, right?
Yeah, that was it.
I didn't watch the horrible call live of the Oregon player sliding into the plate where he got ejected and had to miss the next game.
What's
in
he
the
supposed to
regionals.
do there?
I mean, he's going into the slide and the catcher's up and blocking, and he even has his hands out. And then you get the Duke baseball player who's got to miss now the first game of the Super Regionals, that he's homered, and he comes out of the dugout with a construction hat on, which is part of their in-dugout celebration. He takes 2 steps out. He's at the bottom after another home run for Duke here. He's right there at number 29. He's not far out on the field. There's nobody in the other dugout can see him with that helmet, and the umpire ejected him.
There had to have been
game.
some kind of talk before.
So that's him
right there,
number
29.
Number 29,
Yep.
and he's got a construction helmet, and the coach waves him back in the dugout real quickly, right?
Yeah, and the umpire ejects him for taunting and elaborate celebration or something. There's some rule.
But you see the umpire is like looking out, getting ready for this. It's almost like he knew this was coming.
Well, but let me tell you, baseball is partially to blame for this. Baseball's got all these dumb unwritten rules about celebration, and the players that have come before them, they're partially to blame for this. I saw where a Georgia kid hit a home run and he flipped the bat towards the Oklahoma State dugout, and they're all up on the top rail yelling at him. I'm like, yeah, I mean, y'all got all these stupid celebration rules.
I think last night, and the umpires, you're some to blame on what you notice and don't notice. I think last night, maybe I got my dugouts wrong, but it looked like an LSU kid hit a home run and did this in front of the Little Rock bench going all the way down to the first baseline.
Looking at him?
Yeah, looking at him, staring at him. I think I had the dugouts right. I think Little Rock was on the first baseline.
I think they would because they were in the winner's bracket.
Yeah.
I think that's the way it works.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know, but I just know that either way, even if he's wherever he was doing this. Even if he's at his own bench going down the first baseline, this kid walks out and and the thing I hate most because of that, he's got to miss the next game of the Super Regionals.
Yeah,
it's crazy. All right, that's our 4 downs and a lot of stuff being brought to you in part today by our friends at Twin Peaks. Man, you talk about a great place to swing by today and just enjoy the scenery. Just climbing the mountaintop there and just sit there and have a cold beer.
29-degree cold drafts awaiting for you right now at Twin Peaks. And remember, NBA Finals starting up in a couple of days. Watch the games with wall-to-wall scenic views, a round of 29-degree drafts with your crew. Make sure you watch the finals between Pacers and Thunder. That is coming up in a couple of nights. And don't forget about happy hour. No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference. They've got everything from tequila cocktails and extensive bourbon category to top shelf spirits and cocktails served over the ice balls, local craft beers, handcrafted whiskey cocktails, round out an adventurous drink menu second to none. And don't forget, again, about the 29-degree draft. Stop in to one of those great locations today of Twin Peaks.
Listen, I got so much still to give you in the final hour of the show, so don't go anywhere. Thumbs up, like, subscribe. Follow us on all social media platforms at Next Round Live, Forrester found this video. I mean, the Pennant Grace is live today at 12:15. I do not think they'll be talking about this series live at 12:15. But if I gave you 8 tickets to Rockies Marlins series, would you have gone to that series last night? Rockies Marlins.
Got to see the Rockies win a game, but I saw this crowd.
Look at this crowd
it's
here.
Like 2 people.
Rockies Marlins. They're taking the field out of the dugout, ready to go. Is this COVID?
They probably have bigger crowds than COVID.
That's a small COVID crowd.
Yeah.
Rockies and Marlins with the players taking the field last night.
You got to do Monday night mojitos, or you got to do something to draw a crowd in.
And that apparently looks like a beautiful ballpark.
I've heard it is.
I've been in that park. It is very nice. It's on the side of the old Orange Bowl, though, so that should tell you, kind of how far out of town it is, and maybe in an older part of town. I don't know if it's considered rough or not. It didn't seem terrible to me. But I don't know if y'all knew that. That's the site of the old Orange Bowl. That's where
I did not know
the great Dan Marino and Miami Dolphins for so many years thrilled America with great football right there on that site.
That's close to the Miami campus, then. If it's in Coral Gables, right close to the Miami,
I think it's like 10 or 15 minutes. The Orange Bowl was far closer to Miami's campus than Hard Rock Stadium is, for sure.
Does that look like 5,800 people to you guys?
No.
Oh, well,
I didn't think so either.
58?
Yeah.
5,800. That's
58.
5,894.
If you guys would like to move closer to the field, open seating now. Please move down after the second inning. You can come on down. I would say this. You guys make fun of Tampa in our little minor league stadium. Better atmosphere than that.
I would 100% agree. If Miami played in a minor league stadium, they probably couldn't fill it.
Yeah, that was pretty sad there. Braves host the Diamondbacks home series. Mets and Dodgers, TBS, part of a doubleheader tonight. You get the Guardians and Yankees, and the Mets and Dodgers back-to-backs. A couple of good baseball series happening for you there. And congratulations to the big unit, Randy Johnson. He's getting his number 51 retired by the Seattle Mariners. Rarely can you do this. But when Ichiro came to Seattle in 2001, he asked Randy Johnson if he could wear his number 51. And Randy Johnson said yes. And so this summer they're retiring Ichiro number 51. And next summer they're retiring Randy Johnson number 51.
Isn't that random? Like, who would have thought somebody in 51. Baseball would be asking for 51?
No, 51.
Yeah. 5 + 1 is 6. Means nothing. When we come back, college football playoffs. How good was a couple of coaches that are on the ballot? Hall of Famers or not? Here's a clue. We've already mentioned one of them with Clay Travis earlier.
That's still to come right here on the show that's brought to you today in part by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Stay with us.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service. Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000. Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new Chicken and Bowberry Waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a Bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try Chicken and Bowberry Waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, final hour of the show brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. Sterling and the crew right there in Alabaster on Highway 119. Your chance to go by there and just absolutely enjoy the best Southern meal that I could ever draw up for you. Just terrific, terrific food. Brined overnight, cooked to order. The kind of food that if you got a friend coming in from a different part of the country, you get a chance to say, hey, let's go have this lunch today. And I'm going to show you some good Southern eating. Fried chicken that's brined overnight, cooked to order. Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, all the great sides, unbelievable sweet tea. If you want to show them what sweet tea tastes like, they get it all. They got the Coke products. They're all right there. Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Man, a pretty good list of Hall of Fame candidates as the College Football Hall of Fame ballot is out. And it has a couple of national champions with local ties. Mark Ingram, Cam Newton on the ballot this year for the College Football Hall of Fame. Seemed like a couple of first ballot guys to me.
Well, I think if you win Heisman trophies, you've got to be.
So it's pretty simple,
and
right?
If you combo those with national championships,
which both did.
Yeah, that's the ultimate. I mean, like the ultimate, parlay would be to win a national championship and win the Heisman in the same year.
I don't think there's a wait period for the College Football Hall of Fame. I could be wrong.
I don't
Jim.
think there is.
In the pro football, obviously, there's a 5-year wait period, but if there were a wait period, we would just do whichever Heisman Trophy winner just exited the wait period every year. Because once you win the Heisman, you're in the College Football Hall of Fame. You can't have it without that. Now, I don't know. Again, these are big classes they put in these things too. So I don't know how many people they limit it to. The question would be, are they both first ballot guys? Again, I'm with Lance. If you win a Heisman Trophy to national championship in the same year, you're a first ballot guy to me. Cam was the better of the two players. Cam was a better player than Mark Ingram. But
without Ingram, I don't think they win the national championship.
Probably not. I guess Trent Richardson's your starter in that situation, right? So you'd still feel pretty good.
I just remember Ingram taking over that game where they had no offense against South Carolina on a Saturday night.
Yeah, went Wishbone, or not Wishbone, but Wildcat. Yeah, they were terrible on offense that night, and Ingram changed the game for them. But those two are easy. Yeah.
A whole list of, as you said, the ballot, only the ballot. There's a lot of them on there.
I think Aaron Donald's on there, I think I saw, which is a pretty easy call.
Yeah, well, I don't remember how good he was at Pittsburgh. I've seen some film. Pittsburgh was kind of a middling team when he was there. I think a lot of people were surprised he was drafted 10th overall. Guys that jumped out to me that are on this list, like Brad Banks was great at Iowa.
Right.
People will forget, that's when Iowa had offense and they had a quarterback, and that was the beginning of Pete Carroll putting together that dynasty. I remember they played in the Orange Bowl. Eric Bieniemy, for what he did at Colorado.
Oh, he was fantastic at Colorado.
For me, Sebastian Janikowski. Now,
the Polish Cannon?
I mean, at Florida State, he was great, but he was a first-round NFL draft pick as a kicker.
Yeah.
Say they overreached or whatever, but and Gruden with Barstool tells an amazing story of them playing down in New Orleans. His rookie season, he had gotten off to a horrible start there in New Orleans, and he's gone out on Bourbon Street the night before. And
it was not the first time for Janikowski, by the way.
Remember Musburger, the king of Bourbon Street.
But this was his rookie season. And he was not kicking the ball well, Gruden tells Barstool. And he calls for like a 49-yard field goal. And the special team guy's like, no, he will not make this. He's still sloshed from Bourbon Street last night. He's drunk. And Gruden said he was drunk, still intoxicated. But I sent him out there to kick. And truthfully, I wanted him to miss the blanking thing. And he kicked it right down the middle. And I was like, so fired up that he had made it. And that sort of broke him out of his slump. Speaking of the beer window.
He got arrested at Bourbon Street when Florida State was playing in the Sugar Bowl. And that's when Coach Bowden was asked about it. And he
still played him?
Yeah, he still played him. He was like, well, Sebastian falls under our international rules. We got a set of international rules, and that's where we keep Sebastian.
So good. Nobody ever questioned Bobby Bowden, outside of maybe Spurrier.
Manti Te'o was on there.
He's automatic.
And Ndamukong Suh.
Oddly, who people wanted.
Did you guys see the John Gruden video opening the care package from NATO to Alabama basketball?
I did not. Yeah. In fact, I think I retweeted that. Yeah.
It was really cool.
On Instagram, yeah.
Jack State was one of the first ones to send. It may have been the first one. Clint Trickett delivered it from Jacksonville State, and he opened it. And it was one of the very first ones.
Wait, delivered it to who?
To Gruden.
Oh, okay.
Hand delivered, yeah.
The coaches are the ones that drew my attention here. And I wanted to, don't jump ahead. I just want to break a couple of them down. We mentioned Chris Peterson earlier.
Easy.
He is up for the College Football Hall of Fame, 2006-13 at Boise, 14-19 at Washington. It's an 88.5
88.5% win percentage at Boise State.
It's one of the best winning percentages of all time, if not all time.
This is not going to be in college football. It can't just be, well, he didn't win a national championship. You got to look past that in college football.
I mean,
this is not the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
And when he played, Power 5 at that point, he won a lot more than he lost.
I do not know who else is on. I do know one more that's on the ballot, but I don't know everybody, Jim. But I would say Chris Peterson, easily first ballot Hall of Fame.
I'm going to give you a couple of them here.
Okay.
Gary Patterson, TCU.
Yes.
2000 to 21. He took TCU from Conference USA through the Mountain West, where really they probably should have been in a BCS National Championship game, all the way into the Big 12. He carried them through all of that, winning all the way.
He would have had 3 appearances in today's college football playoff. And that's pretty amazing when you look at TCU. And you guys will remember when Franchione leaves and takes the Texas A&M job, or at that point it was the Alabama job, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people were like, who is this defensive coordinator that's taking over TCU? And it couldn't have been a better fit.
Could not have been. Keep in mind, if Texas doesn't get an incredible break in the Big 12 championship game, TCU plays Alabama for the national championship.
That's right.
And then, again, to your point, should have been in the 4-team the very first year, but it's either them or Baylor, but the Big 12 kind of screwed it up. So, no, he's an easy college football Hall of Famer.
Ralph Friedgen, Maryland.
Man, great offensive coordinator back to his Georgia Tech days.
I'd say no.
He had Maryland in a Orange Bowl.
Yep.
I just don't think the sample size was big enough.
Yeah, I'd say no to Ralph Friedgen. I wouldn't put the Fridge in.
Yeah, I wouldn't put Ralph Friedgen in.
2-time or 1-time national championship winning coach Larry Coker?
No.
Not a Hall of Famer.
It's funny that you're going to leave out a national championship coach, but I agree with Lance. I mean,
look, he won 2, which is hard to do, but after that, he flew it into the mountain. Like he really was. People can say, what they want about, teams that were already built up for certain people. Larry Coker was really handed the keys.
Was he the offensive coordinator, though?
I thought he was defensive coordinator.
Okay.
Am I wrong about that?
I don't know. I thought he was a coordinator, so he was part of building those teams.
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky because he did win the championships, but to Lance's point, he took the program of the 80s, and they never really recovered.
They still haven't.
He was offensive coordinator. I apologize. You're right, they still haven't. From 95 to 2000 was offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach, and then took over as head coach 2001 to 2006. What do you imagine his record at his 60-15, 34-11 in conference,
35-3 the first 3 years?
Yeah, that's the thing. If you pull out, the first 2 years, winning those national championships.
Yeah, but listen, after Rose Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, Orange Bowl, he went 9-3, 9-3, 7-6, and then took the UTSA job 4-6, 8-4, 7-5, 4-8, 3-9. I mean, if I'm in the voting here, I make the argument he showed us the coach he really was. The years y'all are talking about were the outliers. That was not who he was.
I've always said Hall of Fame, I don't care what level, what sport, it should be for elite.
Yeah.
And Larry Coker was not elite.
Okay, last 2. Hall of Fame ballot, these are the coaches that are a lot more debatable than the players are. Remember, this is the Hall of Fame that we're having to change the rules to get Mike Leach into.
Yeah. Which is a yes, by the way.
That's a yes. Yeah. I mean, the 3 of the most difficult Power 4 jobs you'll ever have.
Dennis Franchione's on the ballot.
That's a no.
No. Not even close.
Now, he
2-time NAIA National Coach of the Year, multiple-time national champion.
Yeah, at Pittsburgh State, right?
Yep,
Pittsburgh State, he won the national championship. But that's the thing, you do have to consider the whole picture. But I would not put Franchione in.
I mean, Franchione was a disaster at A&M. Was average at Alabama, had one really good year.
He's only there 0-1-0-2.
Yeah, it was a 10-win season, which culminated in an Iron Bowl loss. So,
yep. And then the last one. Maybe your favorite governor someday. Tommy Tuberville is on this list.
He's not a Hall of Famer. No. See, some of this in the College Football Hall of Fame, we did this with Friedgen, and I think we do it with Tuberville. It's hard. The criteria is so difficult in college football because there's so few national champions. It's not like, again, the Pro Football Hall of Fame where you win the Super Bowl. It's pretty obvious, but you can't just go by national championships. I think some of this is, Lance, I just have to look at it and say, did he look like a Hall of Fame coach or not? Tommy Tuberville did not.
I'm blown away. I mean, look, the pat on the back is him even being in the discussion, him being a nominee.
2004 National Coach of the Year, perfect season that year, won 2 SEC championships.
Yep.
4 division crowns.
No.
And shared an AAC title when he got to Cincinnati.
Yeah, I do not consider Tommy Tuberville a Hall of Fame coach.
No. Yeah.
We probably have too many coaches in the Hall of Fame, to be honest with you.
I always thought Tuberville was like a B- coach.
Yeah. Those are the some of the guys that are on the College Football Hall of Fame ballot, full list there at ncaa.com. And you can also check the story out at ESPN.com that I was looking at there for that. Dr. B looks at your hair and says, man, I'm glad you came to see me. You're starting to lighten up there, man.
Yeah, look, people start thinning out. Men, maybe it's your 50s, maybe it's your 40s, maybe it's your 30s, maybe it's your 20s. It doesn't matter when it happens. You want to maintain, you want to grow back. I'm doing it with that non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. Hair has more than doubled in thickness. T3hair.net, 205-319-0316. Tell them the Next Round sent you. For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. Beckenstein for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use his experience, advanced training, and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. T3's got that new test. It's easy, painless, affordable, takes 4 seconds to perform. It will show which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. Over 10 categories of agents they use, knowing they will work for you. They will custom compound these agents for you in pill or topical form. Men and women ordering Hims other products online don't even know if they work. Stop wasting your money and critical time while you're losing your hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Come see Dr. B and find out what will work for you. 205-319-0316 or T3hair.net.
The College Football Spotlight.
It is presented by our guy, Alexander Shunnarah. The Shunnarah Spotlight right here every single day as we take a look at something in college football. And Alexander Shunnarah, headquartered right here in Birmingham, Alabama, for 24 years. His firm has grown to more than 150 lawyers, supported by more than 500 dedicated team members, and they've recovered more than $2 billion by maintaining Alexander's core values: integrity, mastery, passion, and success. When you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com, Shunnarah.com.
Listen, now, there are times that I give you information and graphics that I don't know the whole story because that's just the way we do the show. I was explaining this to somebody just last week, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, a young up-and-coming broadcaster who I was talking to, and he was like, man, I'm just always amazed at y'all's chemistry and energy in the show and how I'm drawn into the conversation, unlike other shows. And I said, do you think it has to do with the fact that so many times we ask a question we don't know the answer to and you find yourself answering the question with us or for us?
Yeah.
And he said, dang it, I've never thought of that, Jim, but that's exactly right. I'm intrigued because I feel like I'm contributing to the show even when I'm writing by myself.
Well, trust me, there are a lot of times I'm developing my answer in real time. I don't know about you. I don't know where Jim's going.
Well, I mean, I have no idea what we're going to do on this show.
Yeah.
Like you have no idea what we're doing right now.
No, I do not.
Yeah,
Neither one of us have any clue where you're going.
Yeah, like we used to, for better, worse, indifferent, we used to talk a little bit before the show. But I absolutely have no idea what you're
I think
gonna
it's
do.
better when Lance and I are just completely surprised.
There's a graphic that came across my social media feed last night. Most games coached as AP #1 team active coaches. Kirby Smart's #1 on that list.
He is, but I was trying to think of who would be number 2. Even.
35 times. He's 33-2 as the #1 team.
I would have guessed Dabo.
Dabo's next, 18-3. 21 times he's coached in a game when he's #1.
I can't believe 7 games gets you third, though. That's crazy.
That's my point.
Yeah. Where's
Ryan Day on
this?
this?
A new way of coaching, 6-1, 7 games. So my question, LT, was going to be, after seeing those 3 active coaches, has Ryan Day never coached as the #1 team? Surely he has.
I'm going to look it up real quick. Y'all talk.
Or has someone else been?
Well, I mean, keep in mind, he was coaching with Nick Saban, who was #1 an awful lot. And generally when Saban wasn't, Kirby was.
Well, if he hasn't, he's only going to get one opportunity, win or lose, game 1 against Texas.
Yeah.
I think Texas more than likely is going to be the #1 team.
I agree with you. I think they would have to win to be #1, Ohio State.
Yeah. I just wonder how many games Ryan Day has coached as the #1 team. These are most games coached as an AP #1 team. On the screen there you saw was Kirby, Dabo, and Dan Lanning. And I'm sure there's others on that list, but still 3 relatively young guys. But when you pull out a Nick Saban, Mac Brown, even though he wasn't at the same stature in his end of year, Urban Meyer, who we don't talk about enough, by the way,
for this quarter century, the first quarter century or 2000 to 2025. After Nick Saban, I think you put Urban Meyer as the second best coach of this quarter century.
Yeah, I would put Urban Meyer in front of Kirby Smart.
I mean, because he's won 2 national championships or 3 national championships, but at 2 different schools.
Yeah, I don't want to discount what Kirby's done, but Kirby goes from defense coordinator forever under Nick Saban, takes over a really good program, and turns it into a dynasty, into maybe the most dominant program we've seen over the last 5-8 years. But if you go back, Urban Meyer, from what he did at Bowling Green to going undefeated at Utah, would have had them in a college football playoff, to winning national championships, multiple at Florida, and then one at Ohio State. And if it's not for health, how many does he win at Ohio State?
Yeah, if he doesn't tap out of Florida or Ohio State, I don't know how many he would end up winning. Now, at Florida, he was going to be head-to-head with Saban. That was going to be a tremendous rivalry for years to come. At Ohio State, I mean, he would have had a pretty good path pretty much every single year.
The Athletic actually ranks the top 25 coaches of this quarter century to start off, 2000 to 2025, and they go Saban, they go Urban Meyer, and then Pete Carroll slides in at number 3.
I think that's right. I think 1, 2, and 3 are completely spot on. Do you guys disagree with 1, 2, and 3?
I really do not know.
And then they go Kirby and Dabo there.
Yeah, I think their top 5's dead on.
Yeah, but the problem with the rest of that list, Bob Stoops, Jim Tressel, no problem there. Jim Harbaugh, Mac Brown, Chris Peterson, no problem there. Here's Ryan Day at 11, Brian Kelly at 12. Somebody, Tyler, will you come strap LT in? Jimbo Fisher at 13.
In front of Frank Beamer, Lance.
But, I mean, this is the best coaches of the first 25 years, quarter century of college football.
That's
After
crazy.
Jimbo at 13, Frank Beamer at 14, Patterson at 15, James Franklin at 16.
Oh, my gosh.
Les Miles at 17. 1 time or 2 time? 1-1 and played for another.
1-1 played for the 11.
Mark Richt, Kyle Whittingham, Lincoln Riley holding on at 20. It better get to 20-30 quick for Lincoln Riley, or he needs to start winning. Because they do a top 30 at that point, Brown.
Thank you.
Mark D'Antonio, Kirk Ferentz, Bill Snyder, Chip Kelly, Mike Leach. Chip Kelly too low at 24?
I mean, Kirk Ferentz and Bill Snyder are too low. They're both much better coaches than Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah. That's from The Athletic. You can go read their stuff. Chris Vicini and the fine folks over there.
Mac Brown's should not be in the top 10.
Well, I'm just counting guys with a national championship on this. 11.
There's some.
12.
A handful of them.
I mean, Saban
12.
ate up a lot.
He did. There's only 12, Jim. I say only 12.
I know,
mean,
12
that's half
different
the
guys.
list. Yeah.
Yeah.
12 different guys with a national championship since 2000 on this list.
Yep. I mean, Chris Peterson's the first one in the top. The only
That's
one in
right.
the top 10 that's not there.
Yeah.
That doesn't have one.
And then Day rings the bell at 11, and after that you got Jimbo and Les Miles. That's it as far as national championships go. I mean, I know winning a national championship's awful hard, but I mean, half the list doesn't have one.
Do you think there's anybody on that list that will win another one?
Another one? Or win a first one?
Win a first one.
Well, I mean, not many are on that list that haven't won one yet, and are still coaching.
Yeah.
Lincoln Riley, Kyle Whittingham,
I mean,
James Franklin.
You're not asking Kirby and Dabo to chance to win again. You're asking to win their first one.
Yeah, I'm talking about
the club.
I think that's a pretty good list, though, of people that could.
Yeah, I mean, that probably covers most of the guys in college football that could. Most of them, not all of them.
No Lanning. Yeah.
No Lanning.
Yeah.
No DeBoer.
Yeah. There's some people.
No Hugh Freeze.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? Like, if DeBoer was to win a national championship this year, do you think he's on that list?
If DeBoer wins a national championship this year,
right.
is he in the top 26 coaches after 26 years?
I would think he probably
So
is.
you're going to punt Mike Leach for him?
Well, I guess, if that's the way it's going to go.
I mean, Mike Leach is 25. He'll be the first one out.
But, I mean, look, if DeBoer, say what you want about the 9-4 last year, if he was able to turn it around in year 2, win a national championship, just 2 years ago playing for one in Washington, I mean, his ascension's pretty incredible.
I don't know what Wikipedia gives me here. I think it's the AP. But I got 5 games that Ryan Day has coached as the number 1 team. But this could be coaches poll. I don't know if it's AP or coaches I'm looking at. But 5 games as the number 1 team, just to show you how difficult that actually is to do.
It's just coaching as the number one team.
Yeah, I think it's AP and then college football playoff. It changes over. So, like, once the college football playoff comes out, Wikipedia uses whatever the college football playoff is, which is the way I would do it too.
Yep.
But only 5 times has he coached as the number one team in the country.
That's shocking. Ohio State, with Ryan Day as the coach, has only been number one for 5 games.
Yep, in his entire tenure. And that guy has not lost many games.
Yeah. But like you guys said, it's been a lot of Saban and Smart and Dabo.
That's right.
I guess at a little bit of time last year, Dan Lanning, who jumped up in there into that slot. Interesting spotlight today, brought to you by our friend Alexander Shunnarah.
Shunnarah.com. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, you don't pay unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com. That is Shunnarah.com.
And one NFL note presented by Gutter Cap. You got to take care of your house. Gutter Cap will help take care of your gutters, which protects part of your house and make sure that water is being drained away from that home.
Yeah, call our man Chris Stewart today. Get an absolutely free estimate. It is a dirty, dangerous job. The last thing you want to do is get the ladder out on the weekend after working a long, hard week. You get on the roof, you slip, you snap the neck, you die. You're no good to the wife or kids. Cap it, don't snap it. 205-823-2212. Tell Chris Stewart, Next Round Cincy, he's going to hook you up with an incredible deal from our friends at Gutter Cap of Birmingham. Cap it, don't snap it. GutterCapBirmingham.com.
Listen, there just seems to be franchises sometimes that can't enjoy nice things. This is why we don't have nice things. And this guy's not going to get the conversation like the other two. But the Detroit Lions yesterday lost their all-pro center.
I hated to see this.
To early retirement.
Sarcasm.
He's 29 years old,
Yep.
and Frank Ragnow is walking away from the game because of his future health. He says, I've played enough, I'm done, I've made enough money, and I'm walking away to protect the rest of my life health-wise. Now, he's considered to be the last few years the best or second best center in the National Football League, and he is a big part of what Detroit has built. In this offseason now, surprisingly, they've lost their center. The guard left to go to the Titans. They lost both coordinators. And remember, this is a franchise that at one point had Barry Sanders, who retired way early, and Calvin Johnson, who retired way early. And now Ragnow is doing it. What is up in Detroit?
Let me get out of Detroit.
That makes you walk away so early.
I know. I don't know, but I do think not so much Aaron Glenn losing your defensive coordinator, but I do think Ben Johnson is going to be a big loss. And Ragnow is going to be a massive loss because, as you mentioned, a 4-time Pro Bowler who was, arguably the best center out there, especially after Kelsey retired a couple of years ago. I think you're going to see more of this, though, with the money these guys are making. You look at Joe Thomas. You could make an argument Joe Thomas is one of the 5 best tackles we've ever seen. He shut it down early. He wanted to go fish. He wanted to be healthy. He wanted to be able to get up with his kids. If you can make that type of money, I know there's more meat on the bone because Ragnow could be playing for a championship in the next year or two. But I just think with the money these guys are making, it's different. Would you guys give me it's different? Once you get the coaching in your blood, these guys just don't want to leave for whatever reason. But for players now, it seems a lot different. And especially moving forward with NIL. Yeah. Like there's no loyalty, there's no allegiance. It's all about money.
They and I'm just looking, I had to refresh my memory. The only thing I would say if I'm the Lions, I respect Ragnow's decision. At least let me know before the draft. And perhaps he did. And maybe it's just now coming out for whatever reason. But if you didn't let me know before the draft, that's
they might have because they took.
And I think he probably did.
Tate Ratledge, who
that's what I was going to say, and Miles Frazier, 2 guards.
But Ratledge has been taking snaps at center, so maybe they knew that they were going to, go guard to center on Tate Ratledge.
Yeah, so they may have drafted Ratledge knowing this is a possibility, and if so, we can flip him to center. And it's not a one-for-one replacement because you're talking about the best center in the game right now after Kelsey retired, probably with Ragnow. But I would just hope he let them know before the draft, and he probably did. I'm not saying he did not. I'm just saying when you see a story like that, that's the first thing you think is, man, we just had the draft a month ago. We would really like to have established some sort of plan with this.
But just think, maybe your best running back in franchise history retired way before you thought he was going to. Maybe your best receiver in franchise history retired way before you thought he was going to retire. And now maybe your best center in franchise history retiring way before
you thought he was going to retire.
Yeah. It's very odd.
Tough job for Dan Campbell. If I said more likely, conference championship game for the Lions or miss the playoffs?
More likely miss the playoffs.
I probably would go miss playoffs just because of how good that division is.
Yeah.
Packers.
And all the
boy,
Bears,
if you're a Lions
Vikings.
fan, if that did happen, like I think most Lions fans still are very optimistic about the future and what Brad Holmes has built there, the general manager. But boy, if they do take a couple of steps back, if you're the Lions, you had everything in front of you last year.
Yeah, you don't want the window to have closed that quickly. By the way, from OTAs, Stephon Diggs at Patriots OTAs, despite the controversial video that popped out Memorial Day weekend when it looked like he was passing some substance in a bag to a young lady on video, will be disciplined within the organization.
I never even saw that.
And he's at the OTAs.
Did you see it?
I did not. I did not see that.
And at Jaguars OTA, Travis Hunter apparently super impressive on the defensive side of the ball. That from Jaguars OTAs as the NFL continues to go to their off-season training programs there. When we come back, trash is part of the conversation today. Gutter Cap got you that little conversation there. Our friends at Champy's get you from the gutter to right to the sweet spot of that wonderful lunch you're looking for. It's open now for about 30 minutes. Sterling and the crew will take you to La La Land with the best food right there. Absolutely brined overnight, cooked to order, deep southern fried chicken. It is so freaking good. Go give that a try. Wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers. Again, a great bar, mixed drinks there, happy hour. A destination lunch or dinner location is just off Highway 119, which is just off I-65 Alabaster exit, right there in Alabaster. Go by and check them out at Champy's, champyschicken.com.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Looking to expand your business? Let the Next Round help you. Contact us, sales@nextroundlive.com, and be part of the team. Advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platforms. The Next Round can take your business to the next level. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, while reaching the most desirable audience for your business. Get more information by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level using the Next Round.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Hey, you. Days warming up. Looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham. We got now.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new Chicken and Bowberry Waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a Bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time. So try chicken and Bowberry waffles at Bojangles today.
It's bow time.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation states that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Don't forget Auburn baseball and the revamped Plainsman Park, renovated, and a lot of ESPN folks commenting over the weekend that maybe the one of the top atmospheres in all of college baseball now, Plainsman Park, down at Auburn, gets to host its first ever Super Regional this weekend. Friday night, 8 o'clock under the lights against Coastal. And then they go a Saturday afternoon game and, if necessary, to be determined Sunday game.
If you can't make it, it's ESPN2. But as I looked at the schedule, I saw our guy Brad Law from Village Vice, part of The Barn, Auburn.com, thebarnauburn.com. Go subscribe now. Saying, good chance this game starts somewhere other than ESPN2. They've got and there's the schedule Scott's showing you. They've got ESPN2 has an 11, a 2, a 5, and an 8. So I would say a really good chance that game starts somewhere other than ESPN2. It's the fourth game of a 4-game quadruple header.
50-plus win Coastal Carolina in Auburn coming up this weekend. Trash in a Second show being brought to you in part today by Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys.
Shunnarah.com. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Our guy Alexander Shunnarah, one thing he wanted to do was make sure that he had a firm that handles all of his community's needs his community faced. Alex is a part of the Birmingham community. In fact, we were with someone the other day. You were out of town, Dunaway. We were with someone the other day that was a childhood friend of Alex and showed us an old home video of them playing in the yard. He's like,
that was crazy.
He said, see if you can pick out which one is Alex. And we all immediately said it. So that shows you how long he's been in the city of Birmingham. His firm now handles not only any personal injury claims, but claims for fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claims, disability, workers' compensation, and a host of other claims. If you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com, Shunnarah.com.
I think y'all talked about this a lot the week I was gone, but we're coming down to the Landing on June 13th. If you want to come see us. Is that right?
We are working through a few technical issues on that, so we don't know yet if that's going to be a live 9 to noon Central Time show or if we're going to record something there. Okay. So that'll be determined sometime, hopefully in the near future.
So that's a week from this Friday down at the Landing with Herb Winch's Birmingham legend restaurateur down there on the lake.
Yeah, 10-year anniversary for the Landing, which is... Man, it's hard to believe it's been 10 years.
Yeah. So we'll get back to you on the schedule on that, but we're going to do something from the Landing.
Nextround.store for your latest gear. We showed you everywhere from Venice to what used to be the Sky Dome in Toronto. Some wonderful gear abroad yesterday. You can go get the latest gear that's out there, including the summer colors as it's being called. Nextround.store. Nextround.store. Go purchase that in time for Father's Day, which is a week from this weekend, right?
It is a week from Sunday. Yeah. Nextround.store. You can get Dunaway's Creamsicle, Lance's Rams. I mean, they kind of resemble Rams and Buccaneers and Dolphins. Scott had that Carolina blue on. Jordan Hudson approved Carolina blue. That Dolphin shirt's a good-looking shirt right there.
I think they all look great.
I do, too. They are fantastic. Nextround.store for summer colors. Nextround.store.
All right. Houston, the Cougars, they are the regional hosts for the 16 and Elite 8 in next year's NCAA tournament at the Toyota Center right there near their campus. They are the designated host site. Every site, even though it's not on your campus, you know, sometimes it's the SEC, sometimes it's a different school that's the host. Houston is trying to find someone else to be the official host of the regional, because Kirk Sampson and company would love to be the number 1 overall seed and play in the Toyota Center a few blocks from campus for the round of Sweet 16 and round of 8, Elite 8.
You can't do that if you're the host?
You can't be the host. So they're asking Rice. They're asking, the Big 12. Anybody want to host this?
Anybody? Bueller?
Anybody?
Houston Baptist?
We'll see if
it comes with a check, I believe.
See if Houston ends up playing host.
Yeah.
Or get somebody else to host for them at the Toyota Center, so that if they are in that situation, that their path to the Final Four could actually go through the Toyota Center just blocks from campus. Auburn fans will remember that's where they played the neutral site game that Auburn won last year against Houston.
It's probably happened, but I can't remember a team playing a 16-8 in their city. Can y'all remember one right off the top of your head?
I think Louisville.
They played in Freedom Hall back in the day? Or Yum Center?
UAB to keep UAB from going to the Final Four in the 80s.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't happen an awful lot. It doesn't seem. Like, I thought it was unfair that Houston, oddly, had to play Purdue in Indianapolis. Houston was the 1 seed and played Purdue and Tennessee in Indianapolis. Tennessee was one thing, but freaking having to play Purdue in Indianapolis tough. When I'm the 1 seed?
Yeah.
I mean, how did that happen?
He didn't really like playing Auburn when they were the 1 seed here in Birmingham a couple of years ago when Bruce Pearl and them were, what were they, an 8?
Yeah, Auburn had won the 8-9 game over Iowa, which I always point out, Iowa was the one that got the toughest draw there because they were the 8 in the 8-9. They played Auburn, and it was the session that was opposite Alabama. So all the Alabama fans, not all of them, a lot of the Alabama fans had sold their tickets to Auburn fans. Iowa was flat out playing a road game. I don't know.
98%.
I mean, it was like being in Neville Arena. That place was so loud. At least Houston, 2 nights later, the Alabama fans were still there to watch them play Maryland, so it wasn't quite as bad, but it still was definitely not a neutral site. Although when Houston started to make their run, I think Alabama fans got behind Houston a little bit there, so that might have helped.
Stanley Cup starting up this week. It is the Florida Panthers trying to go back-to-back against the Edmonton Oilers. A Canadian team hasn't won since 1993. My question, if you're a Canadian, a Maple Leaf, a Senator, they still have a Jet, they still have Canucks. How many teams do they have up there? Did I hit them all?
I don't know if you've hit them all, but I know what your question is going to be.
Do I cheer for the Oilers?
Yeah,
the Flames?
Me, this is more of a national thing. Like, I've never understood, like we're all SEC, because...
That's my comparison, yes.
I think it's different, though. Like, we're talking about a nation. Like, you invented the game of hockey. I think they invented the game of hockey, right?
I've always given them credit for it.
Just going to assume they did.
I think actually the Native Americans did it.
Yeah. But
I bet it was like Sweden, one of the Norwegian countries.
I don't think so.
But how embarrassing is it that you've been over 30 years without winning a cup? So I think it's almost, we got to rally together. Let's get one for Canada.
Yeah, so even if you're a Montreal Canadian fan, somewhere in you're cheering for the Edmonton Oilers to break this streak since 1993.
I think, but I mean, you're not going to be able to get everybody on board, but I would think the majority probably. I mean, Johnny come lately, the Florida Panthers.
If I tell you where they believe hockey was invented, you will not believe me.
Pennsylvania.
Games played with curved sticks and a ball, which eventually became hockey, was first played, they believe, in Egypt 4,000 years ago.
Yeah, I find that hard to believe.
Yeah.
Not on ice. So.
Not on ice. That's not ice hockey. It was just hockey. Now, ice hockey, I don't know who decided to put it on ice.
Yeah. Again, I'm going to tell you, it was the Native Americans.
You think it was the Canucks?
Native Americans of Canada. So not Native Americans, Native Canadians. If you're in Canada or a Canadian, let me know who you're cheering for in this one. Edmonton, or you don't like Edmonton because you're a fan of a different team. That gets us to trash. Michelson Laser Vision before that, though, LT.
205-969-8100. That is the call you need to make. Ask for Amy Tarr. The next round, Cynthia, she's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. I wore the contacts for over a decade. I was wasting money each and every year on the contacts and solution. If you're doing the same, make the phone call that I made. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
After the break, we're going to interview Eric Weihenmayer, who climbed the highest mountain in the world, Mount Everest. But he's gay. I mean, he's gay, excuse me, he's blind.
LT's Trash is presented by Bud Light.
Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up a cold, delicious Bud Light, poolside, lakeside, on the beach. You're going to absolutely love it. Are you guys brand loyal when it comes to toothpaste?
Not at all. Honestly, I know what I use, but I don't know why, except that my wife buys it.
I mean, we do use different. No, we use different ones. It goes Crest, a different variety of Crest and Colgate.
I think I use Crest. It's the Crest Scope.
We have that right
marriage,
now.
You know,
Yeah,
it's
like
scope
a
in it.
blue, purple label.
It's white with the green stripe in it. That's supposed
Yeah,
to
that's
scope.
normally the go-to for me. You know, guys are more brand loyal when it comes to shampoos and deodorants and things like that.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Now, I'm brand loyal on,
shampoo. I'll take whatever's in there.
Do you use shampoo?
I do. I mean, I do just
Why?
for the scalp. I don't know
it
why.
helps your scalp.
Yeah.
I mean, I think soap would probably dry it out a little bit more.
So I use, scalp's good moisturizer.
Yeah. Now, I've used the same deodorant forever. It's not that I'm
I
brand
do.
loyal. It's just that I like that. I guess that makes me brand loyal.
I think that's the way it is. I think women read more about new products, and I think once you get I've been a Speed Stick guy for 40 years, 30 years.
I'm a Gillette guy. It's like a gel.
Oh, I can't stand gels.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So when you click it up, it just a little gel comes out.
It's got a bunch of little holes and they pop up like Play-Doh. You know, remember the Play-Doh thing?
But are you the Speed Stick that is not white? Is it like a?
No, it used to be green, but I do the blue now. So the blue is like an ocean.
Those are my two least favorite types of deodorants.
The white rips your damn hair out.
What do you use?
I use the white.
And then you leave you a clump. You're playing hoops and you got a damn clump up.
I never have clumps. I trim my underarm hair, but
You
I go
use
Old Spice.
Yeah,
Old
like
Spice
Old
white.
Spice stick.
Yeah.
See, this is an example. We all have different deodorants, and how long have you used your Old Spice?
Gosh, probably since high school.
Yeah, like when you go to the grocery store, you're not looking at anything else. You know, when you go to deodorant, you're going straight to that.
That's exactly right.
I don't know how I got on this.
I don't
Toothpaste. Okay. Fried chicken is now a influence on toothpaste. KFC recently introduced fried chicken flavored toothpaste. There it is.
I don't want it.
I mean, if it's not Bojangles or Champies or something, no thank you.
The flavors are, quote, inspired by all of KFC's 11 herbs and spices.
That's why I'm brushing my teeth, is to get that taste out of my mouth.
The toothpaste, which offered exclusively on the this website for $13, was sold out as of this morning.
Listen, let me tell you.
48 hours it took them to sell it out.
Yeah, how many do they make? Not a lot.
You can get the electric toothbrush, by the way, for $59. KFC electric toothbrush.
I'm going to say I actually am more interested in the FPI than I am these type of toothpaste phenomena, these fake toothpaste stories that get KFC into.
Do you guys remember?
You could not be less interested. You checked out of the FPI discussion about 20 seconds in.
But at least you back from vacation. You said you wanted to talk about it. I gave it to you first in the show.
Yeah.
So I could re-engage for the rest of the 2 hours and 45 minutes the rest of the way.
Get your checkout out of the way. Do you guys brush your gums?
Yes.
You get all the way up in your gums?
Tongue.
Do you brush your tongue with a brush, or do you flip it over with that little scrapey part on the back of the toothbrush?
Start off by scraping.
Yeah, I've got a tongue scraper, and then I'll brush up the tongue.
Okay, you got an individual scraper.
Yeah.
So I
floss before you do any of that, though, right?
Oh, I do the opposite. I brush, and then I use the water pick.
I use the water pick and
floss first.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I floss first.
So you go water pick, then brush?
No, so I only use water pick once a day in the morning.
I do too.
And then at night I floss.
I floss, and then I brush, then I scrape tongue, brush tongue, mouthwash done.
So do you guys remember KFC used to be a big deal?
I do.
And apparently they still sell a lot of chicken. Have you ever eaten at a KFC?
I have, but I don't really think I can anymore because there's just hardly any around here.
No, well, so Maddie has never eaten at a KFC.
Yeah.
I think some of the generations, like back in the day, I guess we didn't have a lot of options back to us watching a ton of sports.
Yeah. I mean, I went to my first Alabama football game at Legion Field, and I had a drumstick.
The bucket was a real thing. Do you remember getting the bucket?
Oh, yeah, I do remember the bucket, yeah.
I used to get that double down sandwich where instead of bread, it was pieces of chicken.
Oh my gosh, Tyler, how did
we
you
used
eat
to laugh about that on Trash.
We did. I think we tried it once, didn't we?
I
Two
did.
slices of bacon and some mystery sauce in between 2 pieces of chicken.
So
is a bucket still a thing?
Oh, I'm sure.
Couldn't tell you. I haven't been to Chick-fil-A.
It's got to be.
Or a KFC.
Hey, where did Kick the Bucket come from?
All right, I'll look it up.
Kick the bucket.
Do you think it's somebody that choked out on KFC chicken?
I got it right here.
Okay, as you do that, a man who admitted sexually gratifying himself with pool floats has pleaded guilty to months-long burglary spree that netted him dozens of inflatable partners, according to court records. Look at this dude.
My word.
Is that a flat head or?
I don't know.
That's the Broward County or Brevard County Sheriff's Office has a bad camera.
This is Christopher Monin, 41 years old, cop to theft and burglary charges.
His last name's Monin.
On the eve of June 2nd. Now, a judge sentenced Monin to 2 years of community control, an intensive form of probation that compares to house arrest. He will then be placed on standard probation for 8 additional years. He was also fined $840 and had to spend 8 months in county jail.
I will tell you, when he says cued the duck, he meant something totally different than Vern Lundquist.
Now, following his 1:30 a.m. suspicious person arrest by Palm Bay Police Department, cops spotted Monin riding a bicycle and carrying a white garbage bag full of what he identified as deflated pool floats. Now, since Palm Bay had been plagued with burglaries in which suspect cuts the screen or otherwise enters a victim's back pool area and steals only pool floats, during questioning, Monin reportedly admitted burglarizing several houses and swiping many floats. He also directed investigators to a vacant house. They found 75 pool floats in the house, including a lounge chair with cup holders, a duck float, watermelon float. He had also stolen a Shaquille O'Neal inflatable lounger.
Boy, that is a weird fetish right there.
Shaq Fu. I'm going to say kick the bucket, Brownie, is there's standing on a bucket to be lynched.
A bit of controversy, apparently.
Yeah.
And when you're being hung for a crime back in the day,
they kick it out from under you,
and then they kick the bucket and you die.
That's one of the suggestions. It has more to do with hanging yourself. There's some pretty dark origins here. The other one is what they call the slaughterhouse theory, which is the bucket was a beam used to hang pigs for slaughter, and the pigs would struggle, kick, and have spasms as they were being slaughtered.
And you would bleed them into the bucket?
And they would kick the bucket. The bucket's what they hung them from. It was called the bucket. Those two are kind of dark. I'm going to go with the least dark one. Of course, we are talking about death here, so I guess it's going to be dark. Is the Catholic custom where a holy water bucket was placed at the feet of someone that was dying, and when they died, they kicked the bucket because their body, went stiff. Is that what you found, Tyler?
That's another one of the meanings I found. And then there's a fourth meaning that says, in the moment of death, a person stretches their legs, and they might kick the bucket placed under them.
Yeah. But we always say it kind of a jovial term. I know it's death, but man, that guy's about to kick the bucket, or he kicked the bucket.
They're kind of sad when you look them up. There again, we're talking about death. I didn't expect it to be pleasant.
So an activist
in America, it changed to kickaraboo as an American and Caribbean expression.
Yeah, never heard that in my life. Lived here for 49 years. Yep.
An activist for pedestrian safety in Virginia facing charges after creating a makeshift crosswalk at a dangerous intersection in what the city calls an act of vandalism. Now, Kevin Cox, well known around the Charlottesville for his outspoken for pedestrian safety. Now, the intersection of Elliott Avenue and 2nd Street is one of the places he's got a gripe with, according to WVIR. Quote, the speed of the cars, biggest problem, they drive too fast, they ignore pedestrians. 64-year-old woman was hit and killed in the area in October of 2024 while trying to cross the road on her way to work. After pleading with the city for a crosswalk to no avail, Cox decided to take matters into his own hand, made his own makeshift crosswalk last Saturday, cheered on by a small crowd of supporters. He went on to say, quote, I walked across the street with a line marker and with a can of spray chalk, not paint.
Yeah, if I can just call into witness the photo that you presented yourself, there's a sign right there that says crosswalk ahead.
Yeah.
That usually is about, I'd say, a couple hundred feet before you get to a crosswalk. So what we have here is people wanting to cross there instead of walking 100 feet down there to cross in the city-designated crosswalk. So if you can't reach a term here, the cross right here, then probably should walk down to the crosswalk, which is probably about 100 feet from that sign.
Well, he turned himself into police. He is facing misdemeanor charges for the intentional destruction of property with a value of less than $1,000. I would think that street's probably got more of a value than $1,000.
I would think, yeah.
But I would say also this: is he standing on a sidewalk right there, or does
it appears to be
that
grass?
Was what I was going to bring up.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like there's a sidewalk going in either direction. So why
generally
would
a
you need a
crosswalk.
crosswalk
That's right.
right here? You're cutting through grass.
That's right. Yeah,
So
that's why there's one there.
sidewalk likely leading to where the crosswalk is.
Right.
By the way,
I think
pretty
so.
lazy makeshift crosswalk, if I might add.
Yeah, lines
Yeah,
are
you
not
didn't get
straight.
the
And I would have
lines
thrown
straight
some
at
white
all.
paint down
That's
there
right.
for the actual crosswalk.
Yeah, do the white stripes across. Yeah. Like it's a Beatles album.
Yeah.
Pretty lazy.
Do better there. He looks like the guitar player for the Who. No.
I don't immediately recall the guitar player for the Who.
Pete Townsend?
Yeah. No.
Scott.
No, I think he's got more. I think
I
he's
don't
got
see
more.
Pete Townsend there. I see Bill Gates.
I see Bill Gates and Greg Sankey.
Yeah,
maybe. Okay.
A move over housekeeping staff. China's newest humanoid is here to clean house, literally. Chinese tech company has unveiled a humanoid cleaning robot purpose built for the hospitality industry, and it may just refine how hotels manage their most labor-intensive task.
I'll go ahead and tell you the pool float guy sees this totally different. If you go back to the start of that video, he sees it as something totally different.
You know what? That robot, though, they're not going to rub your toothbrush on their ass,
That is
or
true.
they're not going to steal anything, from your luggage, right?
Yeah, but what can it
what you
really do?
think.
What can it really do?
There was another video where this robot was cleaning the toilets.
Designed specifically for hotel housekeeping, Zenith H1 tackles everything from cleaning showers, toilets, sinks to vacuuming rooms, restocking amenities, offering a futuristic AI-powered fix in an industry marred by short staff shortages and rising operational cost.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and tell you, if you guys want to do it this way in the world, go ahead. At some point, humans have to have jobs, or the economy is going to collapse. I mean, I can teach you economics 101, whatever you want, but we got to have jobs.
Well, we were talking about what AI is going to do to society in one way or another. It's going to cripple us, and it might be that. It might be with the economy.
Yeah.
It might be they just take over.
This stuff doesn't scare me because the hotels I stay in are not going to be able to afford this. They barely afford quality towels. So not going to bother me. I'll never see one of these in my life.
Do you guys, is that trash?
Yeah, that's it. What happens if you walk in? Do you think it has any interaction with you?
I am sorry. I am not done yet. Housekeeping.
Do I have to throw clothes on if this one's rolling around?
The first story.
Can I stay laying around?
I'll tell you, that looks like a Brad Bell bathroom.
It does. They did a nice job on the bathroom.
I will tell you, to have one of those carts come in here in a computer rolling around, it's gotta be spacious. It can't be cramped in.
That's
it
right.
can't be the microtel.
Well, we've got our guy that does everything up here for this building.
Yeah. He could not be replaced by a robot. Not at all.
I wouldn't think, but there's going to be some corporations that probably will have robots doing what he's doing.
That's the theory, is that some people believe that 80 to 90% of human jobs will be wiped out by the end of the 2030s.
That's unfortunate.
So what do you do with those humans, Tyler?
Well, they either starve to death, or you have to provide some sort of universal basic income, so that way they can.
And how's that
meet
going
their-
right now?
It won't go very well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys have stayed in Airbnbs or VRBOs, right?
Yes.
I stayed in VRBO over the weekend, and I never really thought about this until someone pointed it out to me.
Am I not supposed to call them Verbos
It's
anymore?
Verbo. I used to call it VRBO, but then when they sponsored a bowl game, they called it Verbo, and I was like, oh, I've been calling it VRBO.
You think there were any hidden cameras in yours?
I really don't know. I didn't look for them, but the one thing that jumped out at me is I pay a cleaning fee, and then I read what I have to do before I leave. And I do a lot of the cleaning that I would think I'm paying the cleaning fee for. Like, you got to strip the linens, you got to throw
bullshit.
the towels.
Yeah.
I'm like, I paid a cleaning fee. Why am I cleaning? I got to put dishes in the dishwasher. I got to start a load of laundry.
Because they've got to hit 62 condos.
Well, hey, charge
in
me
4
another
hours.
$50.
I mean, don't charge me a cleaning fee then. I don't know why I have to pay a cleaning fee and then also do the cleaning.
And what do they do if you don't do that?
Well, you don't book the room, I guess.
No, but I'm saying if you don't strip the sheets and take the garbage out.
There is a fine associated with that.
But I wonder how strict they are on that. I wonder if housekeeping calls and says, hey, room 410, they did not.
I don't know which beds they slept in.
Do you ever, the checkout's always 10 o'clock, Universal. Do you ever get them, like you haven't gotten out of there yet and they're just sitting there sweating?
It happened to me this weekend. they came to the door. They pulled up to our place and came to the door.
They've always got their kids with them, though. And I'm like, hey, look, you're going to sweat me.
Yeah.
You let them know that I was 15 minutes late. I'm going to let them know your kids were with you.
I was like, Jennifer, what time is checkout at this place? She goes, not till 11. And it was 9 o'clock. We were about to leave, thank God. We were leaving early. And I told the lady, I was like, ma'am, we're about 10 minutes. So, I'll wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't, and this drives Brown crazy, I believe. Anytime we're on a road trip as a staff up here, I don't get serviced every day. I put my do not disturb sign out there. Whatever the room is, when I get there, I can live with those towels. I make my own bed, or I don't. I throw my clothes everywhere, or I don't. But I don't have anyone else come in. We could be there 6 days at SEC Media Days, 5 days. I put do not disturb sign up. Nobody comes into my room.
I like that fresh
Same.
bed.
Oh, I do too.
You do the same?
Yeah, I do the same thing.
I like the fresh bed.
I don't like them messing with the sheets and like tucking it in and everything.
I bet y'all's rooms are messy.
I'm just gonna kick the sheets off.
I am
anyway,
too, but I like them nice and fresh.
I like coming back to I just checked in.
That's right.
Yeah, not me. It's I'm there to stay. Nobody comes in my room. What I would love for you to do, though, if you're one of the people like these two, throw like a wrapper, like a Twix or Kit Kat wrapper under your sheets, under that top sheet. It's sheet, bed sheet,
right.
quilt.
See if they really change it.
And then make the bed perfectly made. And see if they change your sheets or not.
I don't think they change the sheets.
They just straighten everything up.
Yeah, I just want new towels, and I just want to straighten up.
Now, because I found out I'm in the minority when I do this.
I only change my sheets once a week.
What are they straightening up?
Everything. They get the bed made back up.
Okay.
Yeah. They leave me some nice folded towels.
Okay.
They rearrange the bathroom. I mean, I like it to be straightened up a little bit, back like I left it.
They straighten your clothes up? Or?
No, they don't touch my clothes.
I have my clothes in my little centralized area.
I don't want to mess with my clothes.
But I mean, you come into a clean room.
Yeah.
Or at least that's the way it seems.
If I'm there, I've got 4 towels for 5-6 days. That should be plenty. Why do I need more towels?
Well, I may not, but they at least reload them. I like to have the options. I may take 4 showers in a day.
I'm a washcloth guy. I've learned that this is kind of 50-50.
I think I have 6 washcloths.
Are you a washcloth guy?
Sometimes I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not 100%. I don't do it at home a lot.
Yeah. Do I have bar soap, or do I have? If I remember to bring my bar soap, I don't always use it. No.
You know what I use at home is I call it
loofah.
No, it's not a loofah, but I call it the hillbilly brush. But it's that big long brush, and that's what I do my back with.
Yeah.
You actually travel with that?
Oh no! I use a washcloth in the hotel. I'm saying I do that at home. No, I don't travel with the hillbilly brush. No.
Yeah.
My wife was like, "Why do you call it the hillbilly brush?" She said, "Don't you remember those cartoons where they're sitting in a
steel wash tub?
A steel cauldron of water, and they got that brushing their back?" Because that's all I could think of.
That'd be useful for like the hobo setup. You tie a little like bandana around it.
Oh yeah,
the stick and bindle.
That's right.
That is Trash Today, brought to you by friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. And that's our show today. We're back with you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time. Coming up at 12:15, we got a new live pennant grades. Coming up at 2 o'clock, a new live meltdown. All that straight ahead. Don't forget to check out nextround.store, nextround.store, and a lot of other stuff on our website. Until next time, God bless you, and God bless America.